What's up, guys? It's your man, Donovan Sharpe, and welcome to this edition of the now sixth. Let's go ahead and address the elephant in the room. Steve is no longer going to be a panelist on the show. Just to let you guys know, my relationship with Steve remains unchanged. Steve's a good guy. He's been a friend of mine for a very long time. It was an extremely difficult decision for me to make because Steve is a good friend of mine, and it's very, very difficult to have to make business decisions that involve personal relationships with people that you like and care about. And I'm not going to get into the details of what was said, what wasn't said, what was done, or what wasn't done. What it really comes down to is that not everybody is really meant to work with everybody. Some people don't work well with certain people. Some people don't work well in certain environments. It is what it is. Listen, Steve has been on shows. Some shows people are going to jive well on, others not so much. And so that's where we're at now. Like I said, my relationship with Steve, it's unchanged. But I will say this: if anybody talks shit about Steve in the chat, if you call him names, if you're talk about somebody being the weak link, you're the fuck up out of here. Okay. I'm not dealing with the fuckery. I'm not doing that. Here's my second announcement. I actually made this decision maybe a couple hours ago. I'm not going in on content creators anymore. I'm just not going to do that, especially female content creators, man. Listen, it's fun and it's entertaining, but it doesn't really serve a purpose. And to be quite honest with you, that's not what I want my brand to be built on. I guess to take it to sort of from a business sense, there are no content creators. I don't know of one content creator who has over 100,000 subscribers who just roast people. They get involved with beefs and everything like that. Now, some of you are thinking, oh, but there is that one content creator who shall remain nameless. Well, that's because it's an open secret that 60% of that content creator subscribers were bought and paid for. You absolutely cannot build a platform. You can't build a brand by tearing other people down. I don't care how good you are at it. Listen, I want this to be the six. I don't want this to be Nigatube. We're supposed to be intelligent black men having intelligent discussions. And listen, I'm as guilty as anybody for getting down and rolling in the mud, but I've decided it's over. So listen, and I told Solo, don't text me that stuff no more, man. Guys, and I'm actually going to call this to, I'm actually going to give Kevin credit for this. Don't be that battery in the back type nigga, okay? Don't be DMing me. Don't be emailing me. Yo, Donovan, such and such said this about you. And I'm not interested. Not interested. I've had more videos done about me than I probably realize. I want to keep it that way. I do not care. I'm not building my brand on that. So all of that's over with. It is what it is. So without further ado, let us introduce today's esteemed panel. First up, of course, is the man out in Chi-Town. He's got some new equipment there, man. Hold up, man. Like, you better watch out, man. Somebody might mistake you as a professional.
I'm trying, man. Man, it's your boy, Minister Jap, man. Appreciate you having me on, Donovan.
Man, like that looks legit. I like that. That looks real good. Coming to us from the Long Library, looks like Birmingham, England, is Solo TV 84. I guess you can't really talk too loud as you are in a public library.
Yeah, what's going on? It's Solo TV 84, your YouTuber's favorite YouTuber. Glad to be here. We're going to have a great show. Donovan, last night was crazy. Social circle, a lot of CPing. Let's go check out the receipts on Instagram, Solo TV 84.
Let's do it, man. Let's do it. Solo TV 84 on IG. Next up is the man every man wants to be, the man with a wife and a girlfriend that know about each other and are okay with it, Mr. Lucario.
Good. What's good, everybody, man? Appreciate everybody on the panel. I appreciate everybody watching. Also, make sure after this show you go to my channel because I'm going to be doing a live stream at 11 talking about doing too much in the game, and it's going to be on point. So that's
okay. And listen, if I might add, like, no homo, Lucario, you have fabulous skin. Like, your skin is radiant. That's the one thing I noticed. Like, dude, I wish I had that. See, I have trouble with acne. You I don't even think your face has pores. So shout out to you on your facial hair.
It's the dark skin thing, man. You know.
Hey, listen, I ain't mad at you. Next up is the man in the 305 out there with those big booty Brazilian bitches. Myron 5% body fat gains. What's good with you, bro?
Chilling, man. I got one over right now. No, I'm just kidding.
Hold on, where's she at?
Well, I got to turn the camera around, but yeah. No, man, I'm just chilling, dude. I'm happy to be here. So today's going to be a great show. For once, we're not going to talk about chasing girls. We're going to talk about chasing excellence. Shout out to Rich Cooper. And yeah, man, I agree. It's good.
And oh, by the way, I don't know if anyone has noticed, but Myron is in a kick-ass studio, man. I don't think we got to see it on the 7 last week, but we're definitely getting to see it now.
Yeah, no, man. Dude, this was inspired by you, bro. When I went up there to Philly and did the show with you, I was like, oh shit, like I gotta step up my stuff, man. So, you know, we're here now. We're gonna have a couple of the guys on the panel right now they're already organizing to come down this month, guys. So tune in. It's gonna be great, man.
Good, very good.
Important.
And oh, by the way, Lucario, it's not lost on me that you got some new gear too. Looks like you've got a new mic.
I got the headphones, the mic, the Roadcaster. You know what I'm saying? And I got my poster back there of the documentary. So
yes, sir.
Got the Game Kings. That's on point at Bad Boy membership. You feel me? So
yes, sir. I love
it. Get it in.
Upgraded. On the panel is the best dressed and likely best smelling man in the manosphere, Kevin, the Godfather Samuels. What's going on, Kevin? Now you're obviously not at home. Where are you?
Midtown Manhattan, man.
Oh, so you are at home then?
Yeah. Soon to be home, man. I think it's pretty much almost for sure that I'm going to relocate up here. I just love this city, man. Love this city, but let's get it, man. I'm ready to do this.
Let's do it. And last but not least, our guest for the evening, a man who really doesn't need any introduction. He is the guy who made white girl Amanda feel so guilty that she gave my man Hotep Jesus a free cup of coffee as reparations for out there in Philly. Of course, listen, brilliant businessman, awesome on Twitter, entrepreneur. We all aspire to be. Hotep Jesus, listen, man, thanks for making time for us tonight, man.
Hey, thank you, man. I'm just trying to conquer this nigga tube.
You feel me?
Yeah.
I mean, that's what I'm saying, man. Like, listen, I like YouTube. I'm not trying to be a part of NiggaTube. By the way, Hotep Jesus actually made the news on that. It's absolutely hilarious. My niece, my Devin's niece Olivia, because she was there for dinner with Hotep, and she went and told all her friends that she had dinner with a celebrity. So shout out to her for that. Okay, guys, listen, let's get right to it. So tonight we are going to be discussing entrepreneurship, and a lot of men, obviously particularly black men, want to sort of get off of that corporate treadmill. We all hear it, we all say it. I don't want to work for anybody else. I don't want to work for the man. I want to be my own boss. We're going to go around the panel here very quickly. We're going to give our opening salvos. What I want your opening salvo to be is what are the top 1, 2, or 3 most important things that men need to understand before they stake their own claim and go out and try to start their own business. I'm going to start with the guy who's the expert, Hotep Jesus. Your top 1, 2, or 3 things to keep in mind. I can already see that your mind is working. You're trying to whittle down that list of 74 down to 4, but give it your best shot, man.
Well, I think, as everybody knows, you have to solve a problem, right? And if you can solve a problem, then you'll win. But I mean, there's all types of business with online, e-com and books and apparel. I think to give some good bad advice, some really good bad advice, depending on if you are in a relationship and have kids or whatnot, just quit your job. Quit your job, and it's sink or swim at that point. And if you can figure it out, you'll figure it out. But when times are rough, you'll be surprised what kind of hustle comes out of you. But that's some good bad advice.
Okay, good. I like that. I think what you're saying is put stress on yourself. Put yourself in an uncomfortable situation to find out what you're made of. Lucario, what are your thoughts? What are the top 1, 2, or 3 things in Lucario's mind that particularly black men need to understand before embarking on something entrepreneurial?
Well, one, I would say that you have to definitely be self-aware and see if you're actually built for this. You know what I'm saying? Because there's a lot of people who it sounds nice when you say it, but when you apply the actual work or when you think about the things that you actually have to do, you got to actually see if you're built for it, because a lot of people aren't actually built to be entrepreneurs. You understand? And that's okay. But it's better that you know that instead of going in there thinking it's something that's not. And then if you go in there thinking it's something that's not and you're not built for it, but you really want to make it happen, then you have to do the necessary steps and work to build yourself up to be built for it. You feel what I'm saying?
Okay.
So one of the few things I'll say.
Okay, very good. So in your mind, and I just want to make sure I get this straight. In your mind, you have to understand, you have to be self-aware enough to know whether or not you're cut out to be
right.
an entrepreneur. That, by the way, that's going to be the next question going around. You actually sort of stole my thunder there, but well, again, badboymembership.com. If you want to steal somebody's game,
Right.
joking, not joking. Jap, man, what are your thoughts on what's the first thing that particularly Black men need to know and understand or come to grips with if they want to start their own business and stake their own claim?
Well, I would say this: make sure that you're utilizing the job that you have for the experiences that you can get out of it and the knowledge that you can get out of your job. A lot of times, these employers, they teach you a lot of stuff about how to run their business, and you can apply that to your own hustle. So I would say, man, make sure you utilize your job and maximize as far as skills and things that you use for your own benefit, because they're pretty much exploiting your talents. And don't be afraid to have a job till you get to the point where you can leave it, because it's temporary. Look at all these situations as temporary, because if you're going to retire working for somebody else, then you basically are just achieving their dream. So if you want to stay ambitious, never be afraid to try new jobs, get new skills, and just use the job that's using you.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I actually have a personal story about that, and I guess I'll share that the next time around there. Solo, what's the first and most important thing that men, particularly Black men, need to understand before starting their own business?
I'm surprised nobody has said this yet, but have a business plan.
Ooh.
You got to know, I mean, Hotep Jesus kind of alluded to it, right? Like, what is it that you want to do or sell or what need, right? You got to know the market. You got to do your research. What is your competition in your city, your town for the particular niche or business that you're looking at? What are the average prices? Stuff like, I mean, there's so much that goes into it. Even with me being doing, videography as a side hustle, I was very naive going into it, and like now it's been a steep learning curve. But having a business plan and realizing that 20 to 30% of businesses fail within the first year, or realize that you're not probably going to make money in the first couple of years, and being patient, that's a big thing. A lot of people think you're just going to go into a business and make money right away, especially on YouTube, for example. And I tell new YouTubers all the time, it doesn't really work like that. You know what I mean? So you have to have a realistic business plan, and where do you see your business in increments of maybe 1 year, 5 years, 10 years? Really got to plan long term, and it goes a lot into that, especially if you're new. And like I said, I was very naive to it, but fortunately, I had people that I talked to who kind of could give me some advice. Okay. And the second part would be being patient. Success isn't going to come overnight, realistically speaking. Yeah, you're going to have your outliers where you hear stories about that one guy or the one girl who they blew up in that particular field of business. But for most of us, that's not realistic. So being patient and willing to grind it out is probably one of the best things you can do as well. Yeah.
I think that's the best advice you can give, particularly to Black men, because listen, a lot of Black men out there, we can be impatient. We want that. We want it to be quick, fast, and in a hurry. But being patient, listen, they say patience is a virtue. They don't say that for no reason. So very, very good advice there. Kevin, what in your opinion is the most important thing for Black men to understand before starting their own business?
Was it just one thing, or were you asking about three things?
You know what? If you've got three things, let's hear them.
Well, first off, I think you need to be a subject matter expert.
Okay.
Or else why should anybody? You need to be a subject matter expert before you branch off and do something else. Because one of the most important thing in starting a small business, cash is king.
Yes.
Sales is life. Cash is king. I don't give a damn how good you are at what you are. If you cannot sell it, if you cannot get money coming in, you are not in business. I did a show for 3 months and guys called themselves being in business, but they could not tell me their cash flow, what they were making. You're not in business without customers. So be a subject matter expert. Cash is king, and understand something. Going into business for yourself is not the luxury life. Prepare to work harder than you've ever worked in your life.
Ooh.
You're going to work harder. You're not going to pay yourself for the first couple of years.
At least.
And so knock off this fantasy luxury lifestyle shit, because it's a lot of long days, long nights, eating shit and asking for seconds and thirds.
Yeah. Wow. Very good, man. I like that. Myron, what advice would you give to particularly black men? What's the Myron Gaines? I want to start my own business. What's the most important thing?
Number one, and I hate going last because everyone made great points, and I don't want to sound like I'm repeating what they're saying, but number one, you got to have a plan, right, of what you're going to do. Just shout out to what Solo said. And then number two, I agree 1,000% with Kevin, and that's actually what I was going to say. You have to make sure you're not only good at what you're going to be doing, but you need to be extraordinary, because being good at it, yeah, that might be cool, but for people to actually pay you for it and regard you as someone that is worthy of actually investing their money into picking your brain, or, you know, because basically when you run a business, what you're doing is you're solving a problem, right? Yeah. So you have to have some kind of skill to solve a said problem. So you need to be at the top of the line at whatever you solve the problem for. So for example, myself, I'm good with fitness, right? I use an evidence-based lens to give guys fitness advice that is conducive to long-term success in the gym and actually achieving the body they want for aesthetic purposes and, you know, being attractive to women, right? So I have that niche down perfectly. Then on top of that, being in Miami, I've been able to gain a wealth of experience on how to properly deal with women in a manner that's conducive to your success without tricking or being a simp or any of this other BS that a lot of guys are doing to get chicks. These are two things that I feel very comfortable. In my sleep, I can rattle off any of this stuff, right? You need to become not only an expert, you need to be extraordinary at what you do in the top percentage so that you can charge the high ticket prices for your service. Mm-hmm. And the thing is that there's a lot of guys, let's keep it real, I ain't gonna say no names, but there's a bunch of bullshitters on the internet that claim that you know they know what they're talking about when you know in reality they don't. And another sign that you're good at what you do is you're able to detect people that don't know what the fuck they're talking about.
Yes.
So those are just like some initial steps. I know we're starting preliminary stuff here, so
that's cool.
Too long.
Absolutely. Listen, those are very, very good points. You have to be good at what you do, and you have to be able to solve a problem. I'll tell a quick story. The very first business that I ever owned was a mattress shop. I ended up turning it into a 2-location mattress chain. It was very successful. I ended up making I sold the business for far more than I invested in. I made a pretty penny off of it. Well, the reason why I was able to start a mattress shop is because, like Kevin said, I was an expert in mattresses, number one. Number two, the last mattress job that I had before I got into the mattress business, I worked for a guy who'd started his own mattress business and built it up. I worked for that guy for almost 2 years and learned everything I knew from that guy. And when I told him that I was thinking about, starting a mattress shop, he congratulated me. And then he really took me under his wing and said, listen, you need to be prepared for this. You need to be prepared for that. So my advice to guys who are looking to start a business is reach out to the experts. Okay. If there's somebody who's doing what you would like to do and are good at it, don't look at them as your competition, at least not yet. Your competition in the beginning, just starting out, happens to be your best resource. If you can make envoys with the right people, and one of the most important things about building a business is building relationships. You absolutely have to have good relationships. If you don't have good relationships in any business, you're not going to have a very good business. And the last thing that I would apply here is what Solo said. A lot of people think, oh, I'll just start a YouTube channel and all of a sudden I'll make money. No, it does not work that way. Dude, I was on YouTube for almost 2 years before I actually started making money on YouTube. It takes a lot of time. You're going to go through adversity. And keep in mind, I'd actually lost a channel right after my channel got monetized, actually lost that channel. So I had to start again from scratch. And that's the channel that you see here. So those are just a few of the preliminary things. And we're going to get really down into the nitty gritty here. First off, let me read off some of these super chats. NY Ikea 31, shout out to you. Oh, by the way, shout out to C-Dub, who was stricken with the 91 Devok. He is back with us. I don't know if he was on a respirator or not, but he's back with us. And so it's good to see C-Dub back in the chat. Good to see that he's doing much better. NYKia 31, $5 says plans have to be written, specific, and measurable. Anything else is just a dream. Al, $2 says we better not be waiting for a Herbalife seminar.
Right, no.
If it's a scam, I'll say that. I don't care what anybody says. It is a scam.
I see those.
That T shit.
Yeah.
I never knew what it is. I just see the
let me say this though. Primerica, unlike the rest of them, it's still multi-level marketing, but going to a Primerica seminar actually freed me from corporate America.
Wow.
Because you actually are selling insurance, and you get a health insurance, a life insurance. You can actually sell securities. You're not just selling multi-level marketing stuff. So yeah, multi-level marketing, 99.9% of the time is bullshit. But Primerica, I can actually say there's some good stuff there.
Hey, Donovan, I got something that popped in my mind, and I always tell my students this: sell the product before you even have it. If you can't sell it before it gets here, you don't got a good enough product. You should have people saying, "When's it coming out? I need it right now." Wow. And take that deposit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, all right. It's almost like sort of I don't want to say a workaround, but that's almost like getting sort of a feel on the market, right? If you can sell it before it's here, then imagine, wow, that's a good. I would never thought of that. Solo, you had something? Okay, my bad. I thought I saw you raise your hand. Elliot Morris, $10 says Lucario is correct. Everyone isn't built for entrepreneurship. No shame in this. Investment is the answer if you don't have the time, skill set, or resources to run your own business. Very, very well said there. Freelance Ronin, $5 says also consistency. You have to be willing to do what it takes to make it work. Where others go home, you instead keep pounding the pavement. Had a very, very good couple of comments there on Sharpe Stream. Crispin J in Sharpe Stream says you can't get quality financing without a solid business plan. Truer words never spoken. I actually had Aaron Clary on the show. Used to work in banking. You'd be surprised the kind of businesses that people want to start and they don't have a business plan. He also says, truth. I've slept in my shop for a week straight to get things done. Sacrifice. That seamlessly segues, and I'll get to your super chat in a minute here, Phoenix Fats, and I'm going to start with Hotep here first. Sacrifice, okay? That is something that you're going to have to get very, very, very familiar with. What are some things that you have had to sacrifice, Hotep, to start and run your now 4 tech startups?
Time.
Yeah, right.
Time is going to be completely sapped from you. Somebody was talking about time before, like, hey, how do you manage time with the family and all of that? And my answer was, I give my family time first before I even start my business, because my business, it's not going to die just because I don't attend to it at 8 a.m. or at that moment. It's not like it's going to die, right? So I tend to the kids and the fiance first and foremost, because first of all, there's no better investment than kids. The kids are the best startup. ROI on kids is amazing. All right. So, like, for example, I'll give you a quick ROI. They take out the garbage and do the dishes. That's a great ROI.
That's pretty damn good returns.
Right. And I got the daughter. She's about to be driving soon, so I won't even have to drive. I won't even have to go to the grocery store anymore. But anyway, time. But also, when you're young and you're starting out and you don't have a lot of success, stop the partying stuff, man. The parties, stop buying the clothes. When I first started, I looked like a bum. I wasn't going out. And if I was hanging out, I was hanging out with business partners and we were talking business, So if we went to the club, while we're at the club, we're still planning, right? So change your circle of friends so that when you spend your time, when it's fun time, is still spent organizing and planning and so on and so forth. But you're gonna have to cut down on how much food you might eat. I remember falling down to 120 pounds because I was just like, nah, I gotta flip this ounce. I mean, my bad. We want to talk about
an ounce of microchips, guys. An ounce of microchips. Just to be clear.
yes, an ounce of microchips. But yeah, you might have to sacrifice a couple of meals just to reinvest some of that money or whatever it is. I don't suggest doing that, but be ready to sacrifice any and everything. And women, like, put women last. Women should be the last thing on your mind when you're starting out, because women take your time and your money.
You know it. Listen, women take your time and your money, and they can also be detractors. Let me just, and I want to take some time here with Hotep. I will get to the rest of the panel. Talk to me about your startups. What inspired you to start these startups? Tell us a little bit about them. Tell us you don't have to give us the whole business plan, but just kind of give us kind of a Reader's Digest version of why Hotep Jesus had 3 startups, now 4 tech startups. How did you get them started? What gave you the ideas, etc.?
So I'll tell you 2 quick stories.
Okay.
I was working at Rockefeller Center. 2 white girls was getting bankrolled by their dad in tech. Now, keep in mind, I told previous companies I worked for when I was in consumer packaged goods that we should move into the mobile app space. Nobody ever did, so I just dove straight in.
Okay.
So these girls had this startup, and I was in charge of growth. And I came in, to make a long story short, I came in, and in 2 months, I made this tweet go viral. We got 747 downloads in one night. And I came to work the next day, and they were asking me, yo, what happened last night? So I said, I made this tweet go viral. And they said, no, that can't be it. Find out what happened. And I was just like, what? All right. So that's story number 1, right?
Okay.
Where they don't want to give you credit for being a black man and getting the job done. They want to act like it's something else. So then I was at this other job, again, in charge of growth, and I was running the Facebook ads, and our ROI after a month was about -90, which I was able to get it down. So it was like -97. I'm sorry. So the big boss is asking me, what's wrong? I said, oh, you don't got your Facebook purchase conversions connected, so we can't optimize for conversions. Otherwise, Facebook will do the work for you. And he said, oh, that couldn't be it. So another month goes by, and he asked me what's wrong. I said, white folks, they need shit in writing. That's how they do it in corporate America. So I put it in writing. I sent the email to the team, and everybody said, oh, that couldn't be it. Figure it out. Go do your thing, little nigger. So I tried my best. And then finally, the head dev put the code into the app. They pushed the new app version out. I came to work the next day, and sales skyrocketed like $20,000 overnight because we were spending at least $2,500 a day on ad spend. And I walk into work the next day, and they're like, "Yo, Brian, what happened? Where did all these sales come from?" I said, "Remember, I told you to put the Facebook pixels in? Well, it went in with the new version, and that's why everything spiked." Well, you know what that white man told me? Oh no, that can't be it.
Oh, Jesus Christ, man.
So it was at that point I said, you know what? I can't work for anybody else anymore because it seems like I'm the one that knows how to do this and they don't. And I wasn't getting equity in these companies. So I said, from now on, I'm just working for pure equity. So I started with Maher and Yusuf. We started Coinbits app, Bitcoin company. Riley and Danny brought me into Wazo AI, which is artificial intelligence camera vision. Arlo brought me into deep fakes. And Simone brought me into Gifitize, which empowers content creators with the iPhone app.
Listen, talk to me a little bit about, now this is what's most fascinating to me, and we discussed this in the drive on the way to the restaurant after the podcast. Talk a little bit about the video AI, the AI camera, artificial intelligence video. That's fascinating.
Yeah. So pretty much anything that walks in front of a camera, it's Big Brother tech. I mean, let me just jump out the window and say that. Everybody's like, "Oh, you're in Big Brother tech." Yeah, it's definitely Big Brother tech. Anything that travels in front of that camera, we can analyze. We can do path tracking, people counting, heat mapping. We use it to optimize the retail space. We even use it to optimize warehouses. So in case something falls and spills or breaks, it'll let you know. If somebody slips and falls, it does that. It can even do weapon detection. Somebody pulls out a knife or a gun, it can automatically, it can detect weapons. We're trying to get it down to the point where it can detect exactly what type of weapon, but a lot of that is comes down to how good your camera is.
Okay.
And we're doing everything on the edge, so nothing exists in the cloud. So you own your data. That's one thing that is not Big Brother like. You know, a lot of the stuff exists on like the Amazon cloud and so forth. And then also like social distancing. You know, a lot of these companies need help with social distancing. So the camera will do people counting. You know what the occupation is inside the store, and how far apart people are standing, so on and so forth. And then it can do things for traffic, and it can track license plates and do car counting and animal. It can do animal detection. So we're even thinking about moving into farming because it can connect to a drone and deter.
Okay, let me stop you right there. Listen, so what he's saying is Hotep Jesus in about a decade is going to rule the world. That's kind of what it sounds like.
Black Elon Musk.
Listen, man. Listen, you can talk like you're trying to be an entrepreneur. It sounds to me like you're trying to take over the fucking world, man. That's the kind of that's the kind of business you're trying to run. Either way,
I want to be a philanthropist.
Okay, all right. Well, that's good. Yeah. Well, okay. Well, then you can take over the world afterwards. I suppose. Make sure you spare us little people down here. Myron. Oh, by the way, Tricky Trini in the chat says a snow bunny cosign is a powerful thing, and we laugh and we chuckle, but he's right. He's right. Absolutely, he is 100% absolutely right. What kind of sacrifices are required? As far in your estimation, what kind of sacrifices would you have to make to start and run a successful business?
Man, dude, I'm gonna tell a personal story. Not this tonight, but eventually in the future, and you guys will get the full Myron Gaines background. But without me going into that, you guys are gonna have to sacrifice a lot, man. And what I mean by that is you're gonna miss out on nights where you want to be out with your boys drinking and partying. You're going to have to curve girls and cancel dates. You're going to have to accept the grim realities that when you work for yourself, you also work for yourself. And when you work for yourself, the only person that you're going to disappoint when you fail is yourself, if that makes sense.
Absolutely, yes.
A lot of people will sit there and work for a company or whatever it may be, and they'll kind of do a half-ass effort, right? Like, okay, I'm getting paid anyway. It don't matter. It doesn't operate that way when you run your own business, because if you fail, it's on you. If you succeed, it's on you. And the only person that you're really going to let down is you. So when it's sink or swim or do or die, that changes your whole perception. And quite frankly, not having a safety net to rely on is going to drive you to push yourself even further. So you're going to make sacrifices that you would have never made if you had a 9-to-5 job. You know what I'm saying? It's easy to roll out of the office at 4. Oh, it's 4:30. I'm just going to leave early. It doesn't operate that way when you run your own business. You know what I'm saying? So I wish I could talk about it now, but I'm in some talks with my attorney right now, so I can't like disclose the whole thing. But you guys are gonna have to make immense sacrifices, man. Like I'm just scratching the tip of the iceberg here when I tell you guys how much you truly have to sacrifice if you want to become successful and run a successful business where you're earning at least 6 figures a year.
Okay, real talk, man. Kevin, and by the way, just real quick before I'd like to make this announcement, I'm going to be opening up the Zoom hotline. If you guys want to get in on the show, I'm not going to put you on camera. I'm not going to put you on the show. But if you have a question to ask of any one of the panelists, if you have a business question, entrepreneurial question, anything pertaining to tonight's topic, you can direct it at one panelist. You can direct it at one panelist to maximum, because if we can't all answer questions, but we will give you guys a chance to get on and talk to us. That's going to be via Zoom. Your camera has to be on. If your camera is off, I'm not letting you in. I'll just let you sit there and be a mute avatar. So Kevin, talk to the audience about the kind of sacrifices men have to make in order to run a successful business. Let's do it, man. Let's do it.
Can I do 2 tracks here? One, I got to give Hotep Jesus a shout out. This 20 years ago marked when I moved to New York City as a black man from the Midwest via the South. I came up here and I wasn't supposed to be able to win, and I kicked their fucking ass. The problem is everywhere I went, I wasn't supposed to be as good as I was. So like Hotep said, whenever I had a solution, they always had to be something else. And corporate America taught me that being right doesn't make you a winner. Being right doesn't make you a winner. You have to go out and take what you want. What are you going to have to sacrifice? I'm going to go ahead and be hyperbolic. Everything.
Okay.
Everything. Every man on this panel who's on their own business has stayed up late nights, cried in the shower, fucking questioned everything that you were doing. Broke as a joke. Shit ain't working. You're robbing Peter to pay Paul. When stuff starts working right, that fucked up, that customer who wants to run your name through the trash online when you're just starting to string together a couple of successful back-to-backs.
Right.
And that's just the first year.
Oh, God.
Then when you finally crack the level to where you're making more money than you ever thought was possible, then your core programming kicks in. You ain't supposed to be making this kind of money. You made more money in 1 month than you made all kind of year. You got to have Donovan, brother.
Man.
Money blueprint problems.
Man.
New friend problems.
We're
trying to build an airplane while we're flying it. There are no instructions and no help. That's why it's for those of us who make it, the reward is sweet because the journey is long.
Dude. Listen, the most profound thing you said is we are trying to build the airplane while we're flying it, and there are no instructions. Listen, I can't really think of any other way to encapsulate that than what you just did. Solo, what kind of sacrifice is necessary? Let's ask you from this point of view, what kind of sacrifice is necessary for young black men to make? Because listen, as black men, we're tempted by a lot of things, right? Listen, women, money, fame, this and that and the other. What kind of sacrifice if a young guy comes to you, Solo, I'm 25 years old, I've got a corporate job, I've got a little bit of money saved up, I know what I got to do, but what kind of sacrifices am I going to have to make?
Your social life, definitely. Because here's the thing: when you make that move to really focus on your business, something's going to have to be sacrificed to make time for that business. And typically, it's either going to be dealing with your friends, your love life, and things like that. So yeah, it's like Hotep Jesus said. You're not going to be able to go out partying every weekend. You're not going to be able to have girls randomly over on a Wednesday or Thursday night just to bunker buster. You know what I mean?
Right.
So you're going to be giving up those things. And for me, even when I first got into videography in 2018, I think there was like a 7-month stretch where I didn't get laid at all. Because I was so focused on learning the trade, on, what type of camera, lenses. And even now, my videography skills are still average at best. You know what I mean? So you really focus and zone in. And a lot of us, especially black men, we suffer from, delayed gratification because we want it now, right? We want that dopamine rush now. We want those baddies now. We want to have fun pop bottles now. But that's something you got to sacrifice and realize that, in the future, you're going to have even more fun. And even myself now, I know the Instagram, I went out last night, but there's plenty of nights, 3 a.m., 4 a.m. in the morning, editing videos or doing different things where I'm still up. So you got to sacrifice your social time. Another thing is money. You got to be able to invest money into your business. And I know that that's not really a sacrifice, right? But to somebody who may not have a lot of money, or you're looking at the business you want to start, you got to be willing to sacrifice that money and take a risk. Because here's the thing, how much do you believe in yourself? I know a lot of people will be like, no, I don't really want to put that much money in, or I don't want to do this.
Well, you don't want to bet enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't want to bet enough. Let me ask you this, Solo, because I've always actually wanted to ask you this. I've never really gotten the opportunity. What got you into photography and videography? What spawned that in you? Like, is that something you've always sort of been interested in, or?
Yeah. I've always been doing it, Donovan, since back then. I was the guy that when we would go out, I would just take pictures of my friends back when you had the disposable cameras where you wind it back. And then that's how old I am. You wind it back and then you take a picture. I've always done it. And, one of my friends was like, man, you always, because I used to back in the day when I was on Facebook. I'm not on Facebook anymore, but I used to do these little, like when me and my buddies would go out and, hit the field or whatever, I'd record us pre-gaming and then out and about. And then I'd throw a little music in the background, right? Like a little music video. And one of my buddies like, bro, you're kind of decent at this. Like, you ever thought about, taking this somewhere and making some money off of it, right?
Yeah.
And that's how YouTube began. And then from there on, it's like, okay, well, what can I do to, become a better content creator? And then that just kind of spiral from there.
Okay, good. So it's almost like it was almost kind of like a perfect storm, and you were good at it already, obviously. Okay, good stuff.
Yeah.
I had always wanted to ask you about that because I was always very curious. Jap, what kind of sacrifice is required for men to be successful running their own business?
What I've learned, with this, just starting my own business with content creating and stuff like that, is basically you're gonna have to separate to elevate. I was around trying to still, I guess, latch on to the people that I was around when I was working 9 to 5, working for corporate America and shit like that. And when you start your own shit, whatever it is, the family and the friends you have are going to be your first haters. And that right there, because they're not going to believe it until they see it.
Right.
Everybody doesn't have the fortitude to start something from the ground up. And everybody's not gonna see your dream the way you see your dream because it's your dream. They're gonna be waiting for you at the finish line, cheering and shit like that if you can make this shit a success. But the whole time you're trying to do this shit, your biggest detractors are gonna be friends, family, and that bitch. So you're gonna have to separate yourself from a lot of the people that you probably grew up with for 10, 20 years. Now, this is the crazy part about it, because I'm telling the actual about me right now. I don't hang with a lot of my friends and family. My family had to cut a lot of these people off.
Yeah.
But this is how I invest in this. This is my business now. My new friends are my colleagues now. So Kev, Donovan, Myron, I look to you guys as like friends. Now, I got people I grew up with in Chicago and shit like that. I see them and shit like that. And that's recreation. But your real friends are people that you can get money with. Your friends are people that you can rely on, information that'll help you grow. And the field that I'm in, you're forced to be friends. Like if you were a cop, most of your friends will be cops. That's how most of my friends were coworkers when I used to manage cell phone stores. Yeah. Most of my friends were people in sales. So everybody we go out and drink with, now that I'm not in sales no more, they don't understand what the fuck I'm doing. Right. And if I was to go around them, I would get so much negative energy, it would deter me from make me almost not even what I'm going to do is going to be successful. And the reason why I stayed down and dirty and I separated so I could elevate away from elevate in my shit, and I had to get away from their motherfucking ass because the negative energy, and they might have meant well, because everybody's going to see your dream, but now it's paying off, and they still don't understand it. So it's like, you gotta separate.
Listen, if they still don't understand at this point, then they're never going to understand. That's really.
Yeah, but it's not, and I'm not going to sit here and fight with these people. Just friends and family, like I got blood relatives that don't speak to me because of this shit, and I can't speak to them because they don't understand it. And on the journey of this, they see me doing something else, and I'm doing this, and it's work. I made it work. So again, you can't pick your family, you can pick your friends. But,
you have to separate to elevate. Lucario, now something tells me you've always had an entrepreneurial spirit. Right. And I've never heard you talk about working a W-2 paying job. Have you ever had to work for anybody else?
Yeah, I had day jobs and all that other stuff.
Oh, okay.
I had part times. I used to work at a gym. I used to work in an after school program. All that other stuff.
Oh, okay.
But then, I was like, I want to do my own thing. But as far as sacrificing goes, I'm gonna go a little different with it. Is that I never sacrifice no pussy to make it. But I'll tell you this. This is what I'll tell you. I sacrificed time wasted. Like basically. No matter if I'm dealing with a girl or I have a guy friend or whoever it is if you're wasting my time, I don't deal with you. Okay. And I utilized everything to my advantage. So even when I was dealing with women, I had the women do stuff for me to help me in the business. You see what I'm saying? If I had a friend, I'll be like, yo, help me, do this and do that. You understand what I'm saying? So even though I was doing things, I was utilizing things around me. But also the thing that I would say too that I heard some of y'all say that I agree with is sleep, and also I think Solo said it was money, and I think a lot of people don't want to, and I don't even look at it necessarily as a sacrifice for money. You just got to invest your money into your business versus just buying, clothes and all that other stuff. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I'd say.
Okay, very good. My take on it is, and we're going to get to the super chats here in just a second. The biggest sacrifice that I've made is obviously time. Time is a man's most valuable commodity. That's all there is to it. And it's funny. I just learned from Aaron Clary that money isn't real. All money really is how did he put it? All money really is it's like a context of time on someone else, right? If you make a lot of money doing what you do, that means you don't have to work as long to make that kind of money. If somebody pays you for something that you do, they're really paying not only for your product, but for your time, right? And it takes time to do that. I forget how he put it, but he put it much better than me. You're going to sacrifice time. You're going to sacrifice sleep. You're definitely going to sacrifice friendships, man. And I think what a lot of guys, they have this misconception. They say, I want to run my own business. I want to have a passive income. And what they have in their mind is them sipping on a Mai Tai, sitting on the beach with their laptop, I guess, making their passive income. It doesn't work that way, man. Because I'll tell you this, once you decide to work for yourself, you can kiss the 40-hour week goodbye. And Mark Cuban said it best. Entrepreneurs, we are the only kind of people who work 80 hours a week, so we don't have to work 40 hours a week. And truer words were absolutely never spoken. I'm here to tell you the rewards are innumerable. But if you think, now time will come, you'll have plenty of time. If you run a successful business for long enough and you're smart with your money and you reinvest in your business, which I think is also very important, then you'll certainly have all the time in the world when, you sort of ride off into the sunset and enjoy the fruits of your labor. But time is something you're never going to have enough of. Like, I'm looking at the clock right now. I'm already getting nervous because it's past 9 o'clock. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, I gotta get up early tomorrow morning. I got to work out. I've got to record a video. I've got an appointment at the bank. I'm talking to another guy about some software. Time is it's so valuable. And sometimes I think, dude, if there were only, if I could have two wishes, right, other than the obvious eternal life and money, I don't know if I want to live forever, as I would wish for the 32-hour day and never have to sleep. If I never had to sleep, I would be, I'd be Gucci. I'd be great. I'd probably die tomorrow, but that would be great for me. That's how valuable time is. And I'll tell you one more thing. When you start your own business, with age also comes a more appreciation of time. See, when you're young, money is far more important than time. But the older you get, the more valuable the commodity of time becomes. When you have your own business, your time, listen, even though you're making good money, your time is worth way more than money is worth. I spend more money to save more time than I've ever had in my life. Dude, I pay somebody, I don't have time for shit. I pay somebody to walk my dogs. I pay somebody to do the laundry. And you guys are thinking, well, wait a minute. Devin lives with you. Doesn't she clean? Doesn't she walk the dogs? Guess what? She doesn't have time either because she's also working 85, 90 hours a week right alongside me. So, and one more thing that Lucario was talking about, Lucario and Jap, you can only associate with people who are going to help you do what you do. You don't have time to keep detractors around, man. And what you'll find is
ding.
There you go.
You don't know what a wife is because you.
Wait, say that again.
Sorry, that was I just accidentally hit something.
What you'll find out before we get to the super chats, what you will find out very quickly is that the people who are your staunchest detractors, those will be the people, when they see your success, those will be the people who will try to befriend you the quickest, right? That nigga who told you that wasn't a good idea. What you trying to do, man? Trying to impress these white people. All of a sudden, now they see you living a better life. Now they want to hang out. You just have to watch out for those people. So again, man, watch out for those scams and deceptions. Very, very good answers by everybody. Phoenix Fat said, just join the chat. Keep up the good work. The content here is excellent. Is excellence in good form as always. Good.
Can I add something?
Yeah, sure. What you got?
That whole thing about time. When I first started saying I don't beef, I know a lot of people thought I'm coming off like Gandhi or, virtue signaling and all this other bullshit. But you'd be amazed at how much time you save not beefing. How much time you don't waste when you don't go. I don't go searching my own name. I talked to you about this the other day, Donovan. I accidentally stumbled upon how much my name has been written about. And I'm just like, if I entertained all this, even a tenth of it would take a lot of time. And what it does is when you are focused on time as being your most valuable asset, you draw to you other like-minded men, other high-value men who can say, you're part of our group. You're just now scratching the $1 million club. Come on in. Let me show you how some of these $1 million moves. And it's hard for us who came from working parents, working middle class, paycheck to paycheck people to wrap our mind around actually being able to own your own future, because for the longest you were really stuck where you were raised. Yeah. But now men on this panel, we can choose to decide to be greater than ever. But you got to give up that one thing, that time, and you must be willing to take risks. And to the risk takers, go the rewards. Thank you.
I agree. As the saying goes, nothing ventured, nothing gained. Unique 79 with the £5 super chat says, think it, do it, and know why you're doing it. If there is no passion behind what you want to do, leave it alone because you are wasting your time. I totally agree. Starting a business doing something you don't love to do. I mean, listen, there are plenty of people out there who run successful businesses, but they don't love what they do. You know what that's called? That's called a job. Now you're still working for yourself, but now you're stuck at a job, even though you're the business owner. It sounds cliche-ish and it sounds hokey and all that, but dude, if you're going to start a business, it has got to be something that you love to do and something you're very good at. Zombie Feva, Zombie Forever. Fiva. See, I'm a fucking idiot sometimes. $10 super chat says, I'm a Jamaican living in America, still believing in the American dream, but I don't know where to get information. Can you enlighten me about business in a state, the good, the bad, and the ugly? I don't know what he's talking about.
You're talking about real estate.
Real estate. Okay. That is a very, very long, very long and drawn out question. I think we're going to come to that. By the way, I'm going to go ahead and open up the video hotline. I'm going to go ahead and start getting people in here. I'm going to go ahead and post the link. And like I said, turn on your camera. If you don't turn on your camera, I'm not letting you on. It is the Zoom link. Don't worry, I'm not going to show you on the camera, but we're going to be able to see and hear everybody, or we're going to be able to hear everybody. New policy, $10 super chat to sacrifice. Merciless, $5. A silly question. Do you find the niche, or does the niche find you when it comes to creating content, part or full time? Wow, good question. I think the
finds you.
Say again.
It finds you.
It finds you. Okay, it finds you. It definitely finds you.
Expound on that, Hotep, because I think I think you're right, but I think you could probably put it better than me.
Yeah, I mean, it goes back to what you said before about doing what you love, right? Yeah. When you're looking for the niche, you usually don't find it. You usually stumble upon the niche. You're like, oh shit, look at this, right? Unless it's something like, COVID hit and you're like, all right, let me put my feelers on. We need generators. I could flip some generators. I could flip some hand sanitizer. That's different, right? That's, capitalizing on the crises. But outside of those type of like e-com situations, a lot of the times, for example, my niche, like where I talking, I stumbled upon that with the whole Trump becoming president thing. It wasn't like I was looking for it. I was just like, oh, what's this shit? Oh, and I started just digging around and started learning, and that's helped blossom my brand. But you definitely runs into you. You don't look for it most of the time, I would say.
Okay, Kevin, I believe that you think the same thing.
Brother, you and I have known each other for years.
Yes.
High value man.
Dude.
Okay. Come on. We know where it is now.
Right.
But the things I'm saying, the things you're saying, the Jab's saying, and all the brothers on the panel, we've said it before, but Corona hit. Oh, I'm sorry. The thing hit. and it was a moment in time. And apparently, it was the right one for me because there's riches and niches.
Yes.
And here's the thing: you have to be willing to scrap your plan. See, that's a lot of us. We want to be right so much, and I listen to the market.
Yes.
I don't go try to serve salad to meat eaters. I have a restaurant. I can be a vegetarian in my private life, but I'm gonna serve these ribs if that's what you're buying.
Right.
So it would have been foolish for me to see the numbers and understand that the core concept is still the same. It's just they like it packaged better this way.
Listen,
sorry, man. You stumble upon it, but it's up to you to decide whether or not to follow it.
Listen, man. See, now you are the face of high value. And I think what a lot of guys have to understand too is sometimes it does just find you. Hey, guys, listen, we're all hard workers and we're all hyper driven and type A personalities. But I think we can all admit that luck played a little bit of a role in getting us to where we are. That isn't to take anything away from anybody, because luck is not really luck. Luck is just the manifestation of opportunity and preparation. If you're not prepared when the opportunity comes, then you're gonna miss that success. If you are prepared but an opportunity doesn't present itself, you're also not going to be successful. So admitting that, hey, you know what? Listen, I can admit I got lucky in a lot of ways to get to where I am. Now, of course, I made my own luck and I made sure that I was prepared and, I reinvested in all that. But yeah, you have to understand that sometimes sometimes you're going to get good breaks. Sometimes you're going to have bad breaks. You need to be ready for either one of them.
You're absolutely right. Cause I'm really good at music.
Okay.
And as a rapper, I'm extremely talented, but I'm good, but it didn't stick out the way that this does.
Right.
And I've always had, I've been a people person. I think that all of us on this panel has been in sales somewhat to some degree. And that usually strengthens your people skills. I think that any person running their own business has to be able to talk to people. But like Kev said, sometimes you gotta be willing to scrap what you got, what you had, your first dream, because this other thing that you may not even knew it was a dream is the actual reality, and this is what the people want from you.
Right.
And you gotta listen to the market, you gotta listen to the audience, and you gotta listen to, what's working. Me as a podcaster is just like, wow, I didn't know, I never thought about doing nothing like this. Right. I was investing heavily in the music. I probably lost about $40,000 in studios and just shit going around doing so much shit. I'm talking my own personal money doing music. I never had nobody say I wasn't good enough, but I'm in a saturated market with nothing but rappers everywhere.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Then this happened. Me just driving to work, telling my story about dating bitches and single moms every day.
Wow. See?
And it was like, man, I feel your story, dog. Man, the way you said that shit, that's real. I'm like, it's just me being myself. You know what I'm saying? It's not that big a fucking deal. And then it was just so many people. And I took that and capitalized off of it. Fuck it. We're doing a website. We're doing this shit consistently. I'm going to chronicle every fucking experience. And Kev tells me all the time, these guys need to pay you because you are out every day surveying the land. And that's why you're able to give these guys this real shit like this. But yeah, and you got to be able to listen to what other people say. There's times where I'll talk to Kev and he knows I want to just go ballistic. I want to whoop people ass. I want to cuss these hoes out. He's like, Jack, calm down. You're a businessman now. You got to think about your brand. The people did not buy into you for going out whooping ass and doing all that shit and blasting bitches. Personally, they love your insight, your intelligence, your comedy, and the stories that you're telling that they can actually use.
And your delivery too, man.
So I had to pay attention and not go off the path.
It's good to stay true to yourself and do what you're good at and what you love to do, but you don't want there's a reason why they don't talk about hockey on sports talk radio, because nobody south of Minnesota watches fucking hockey in the US. Like nobody pays attention to that, right? So,
I never thought about that.
You know what I'm saying? Like you can be Mr. Sportscaster all you want to, but if you're in Atlanta, Georgia, people want to hear about the Falcons. They want to, they want to hear about the Hawks. They don't want to hear about the Thrashers. Like nobody, you have to listen to the market. You can talk don't talk about, well, I think people want to hear this. No, your audience, the market will tell you what they want from you. Karn, $5 says, Nerd Thought, don't wish for immortality. You basically increase your chances of being trapped somewhere to 100%. Go for eternal youth. Okay, very good. Yeah, I can know what someone looks like if they're 247 years old. You're probably good for nothing at that point. Just won't die. Red Sings the Blue. $5 says, learning from Donovan how to run a podcast, and it worked out. Now I'm going to scratch the surface by updating the equipment. CEO Lifestyle, $5 is very good points in the panel. Says, if you can rewatch this video, because this will go over most of your heads. Yeah, I guess so.
Shout out to CEO.
Yeah, that's for CEO.
Oh, that's who that is. Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Shout out to Fresh Prince CEO. I got a couple more here, and then I've got the last question that will go to the hotline. King Rob, $3. Is having an LTR good or bad for your business brand? It depends on your business brand. Kevin, I'm going to defer to your expertise on that. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I think an LTR has been good for your brand.
Who, me?
I think, yeah, because you have an assistant.
Yeah,
you have a built-in assistant who understands and respects what you've built and developed. And I think LTRs, as long as she's following the man's purpose and is on his page, that's ultimately what the female of the species is here for. Right. But if she's not doing that, or if she thinks she needs to put her hands on the wheel, it's better to get rid of her and to have none.
Okay, I'm with it.
Wait, can I say something too?
Yeah, go ahead, Solo. Go ahead. You got it.
So one thing I noticed is when I was dating the lady that I was dating earlier the summer or whatever, I didn't realize how much time it took away from me actually making content. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like she knew what I was doing and she was cool with it or whatever, but it takes a lot of time away. Now, obviously I was able to manage it, but you make other, sacrifices and you running on fumes at times. And another thing is, and I think a lot of guys on this panel can relate to this, but when you are on the road to success, starting your business or you're doing content or whatever it is that you're doing, it's a very isolating life because a lot of people are not going to identify with what you do. Even when I'm in when I'm in the fashion industry, right, Donovan, and I tell people I YouTube and I talk about men's issues and social comedy, they're like, wait, guys struggle with that? Or that's a thing? Like in the fashion industry, I don't even tell them what I do anymore because then, because I get into 30-minute conversations and then half of the fashion industry are feminists, let's be honest.
Oh, yes, brother.
Yeah, they're feminists. And the next thing you're having these conversations and it's like, no, I'm not. So I don't even explain, but it's a very isolating life. And you got to realize that there's going to be a lot of times where, you're going to maybe see your friends on social media, go out and have fun, or, there's going to be people doing that. But you know what? It makes you tougher in a way because it also shows you who really fucks with you, excuse my language, and who doesn't. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so it's an isolating life, but I think that it makes you better. It's made me a better content creator.
Okay, very good. Hotep, you were on. Now, by the way, Hotep Jesus was on Rogan a little while back, and I remember you guys had a really funny exchange about you being on your purpose and you doing what you want to do. And I remember Joe kind of asked you. He says, "Well, okay, you have your shit, but what about her shit?" And you said, "Well, fuck her shit," right? and everybody laughed, but you're absolutely right. Fuck her shit. If you don't have a woman, you're not only building a business, you're building a legacy. And if your woman is not 100% in your corner, if she's not with you, she's against you. What are your thoughts on that?
Dump that bitch.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, you can't have leeches. I think the people in your life need to be lean. You need to keep I practice something like minimalism. You're always gonna catch me in a hoodie and this hat and that's it. And I got 2 pairs of sneakers. I practice minimalism in all parts of my life, right? I don't want a whole lot of moving parts. I don't want a whole lot of things to think about. And I do the same thing with people. I got the same 3 people that I communicate with, and they're all like the brother said earlier, they're all colleagues.
Right.
And anybody that isn't contributing to the success has to come in last place if I even find time, and And there's some things I do to keep people away. You know, I might not respond to your text message for 3 days on purpose, you know, just because you're wasting time, you're wasting my time. Or if I give you advice and you don't act on it and you come back to me a week later, like, and I'm like, you still didn't invest in Bitcoin? Like, all right, I can't take you serious. Price is at 15,000 right now.
Bull run.
Yeah.
Bull run.
Yeah. And you, but I saw you on Instagram with a new pair of Jordans. It's like, you know, so, you know, I think that we need to just keep the people around, keep the amount of people around us really lean and a low number. Right. And make sure that we can measure their ROI with our life, both from time and money.
Oh, wow. Very good. Yeah, you know, it's funny. I had never thought about the fact that my LTR helps. I'd never even considered that until just now. And the reason why, and Dev now works for me, like it's on paperwork, W-2 taxes, and we're going to do the LLC thing with her and everything like that. But I think that's part of the reason why this, at least for right now, it works. She's 100% on board. Before she even came to work for me, she was still 100% on board. It comes to it like this, and I'm going to tell you this story. Remember the story about the mattress business that I started and ran? When I went and told my then wife, my now ex-wife, hey, I want to start a mattress business, the first thing she said was no. And I was like, are you serious? Right? And I was so upset, but I went behind her back and started it anyway, right? She was upset, of course, until after, I think I started turning a profit after the 8th month. That's when she was on board. But those first 8 months were so much more difficult than they had to be because she was always in my ear talking about how it wasn't going to work. If I needed her to bring me anything, it always took me, hey, listen, you know, I left my receipt book in my office. Can you bring it to the shop? Taking 2 and 3 hours to do that. Meanwhile, I got 3 customers in the store and I need receipts. Like it's those little things that can really, dude, that could have destroyed my business, man. And I can't imagine what it would have been like if she was on board since day one. And she was a white girl, but like she was on some bullshit. Like she had to see it to believe it. I'm like, what are you, my family? Like, what are you, my mom and dad? Like, what is this? So is having an LTR good or bad for your business grind? Unless she's 100% on board, I say no. And I don't mean 90%. I don't mean 95%. No, man, your woman has to be all in with you, which means that all of her decisions, everything she does is with you in mind. She has to make you and the business a priority, because if she doesn't, that relationship is going to come.
Can I?
Facts.
Can I hop in?
Yeah. Jump in.
All right. So I'm in a LTR, and my woman has nothing. I keep her completely separate from my business. And at first I thought I wanted her involved and I wanted her support. And I realized I don't, you know, I just want her to create peace around me. Right. So when I'm done and I go lay in bed, I don't want to talk about business. You know, she's probably going to talk to me about what she wants to buy for the baby and this, that, and the third, and Netflix. And at first I thought that was annoying. I was like, yo, why aren't we talking about business? Then I realized, like, this is actually good because she allows me to detach from Fortex startups and the Hotep brand and my books and writing. So it allowed me to detach. So there is a counter argument to that too. But I remember a similar instance like you, Donovan, where she was, you know, in my ear about me having this blog, but the blog ended up blowing up and got me that situation with 50 Cent. So I think there's also that you have to put that, you know, these earmuffs on, these proverbial earmuffs on, and learn how to ignore people and just say, you don't see the division, and not let that get to you. Because sometimes women don't see the vision. Forget women. Nobody can see your vision like you see your vision, right? Because it's not something you can put into words. You visualize it, you see it, you believe in it, and you know the trajectory of it. And not even business partners you bring on later will be able to understand the vision you have for your business. So I would say take that with a grain of salt when a woman doesn't understand it. But if she come in late with the receipts, oh yeah, she got to go.
Oh yeah, that's a wrap.
See, I say this real quick.
Go ahead, man, you got it.
I just wanted to say, because what Hotep Jesus was saying, even though she wasn't directly helping you with your business, because she gave you peace of mind, she was still indirectly helping you with the business.
Yes.
So I only see it where if a woman is directly disrupting, then that's an issue. You see what I'm saying? So she doesn't necessarily have to directly help. She can indirectly help, but she definitely can't be directly trying to sabotage or bring negative energy to the situation. You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
Check this out. I'm going to wrap up this King Rob $3 super chat. Nothing against you, King Rob. Love you. I appreciate that. But the fact that you actually brought up pussy in this podcast, that already tells me that you might not have your priorities in line, right? Guys, we normally average what? Around 1,700 live viewers. When we're talking about how to get laid, how to handle 9s and 10s, how to fuck these hoes to sleep, how to do this, how to do that. Dude, the chat is blown up. We're getting all kinds of super chats and this and that and the other. But now that we're actually talking about how to build a business, build a legacy, and live a life, and live a life, then all of a sudden now we got literally a third of what our normal viewing audience is. Do I have a
who's that? Somebody's got like TV going on.
Jap, is that you?
Nah. Yeah, where's that coming
TV
from?
going on in the background?
That is definitely me. Yeah, that's actually my voice. Yeah, that's my voice. So somebody's got me on in the
Whose
back.
speakers are on?
I'm putting myself on.
I don't think that's
Everybody mute. Everybody mute.
All right, mute.
All right. One by one, unmute. I'm good.
Kevin Samuels.
I'm good. All right, I'm unmuting.
It's too much of a delay.
Right there.
Who was that? Who was that? They just
Just
unmuted.
unmuted.
Who unmuted after me? Is that Jack?
I just unmuted right now.
I think it's
That's you.
library dude.
No, it's Jap.
I've been on mute the whole time.
It's Jap.
It's Jap?
Mm-hmm.
It must be coming through with speakers.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's coming through his speakers. Yeah. That's all right.
Just turn the monitors off.
Yeah. Or just shut down the YouTube in the background. Just leave StreamYard up.
Right. Yeah. Shut the YouTube off.
Still hear it.
No, it's Jack. I've been on mute the whole time. Jack.
And I accused old boy in the library.
Yeah, I think I got it figured out. I was muted the whole time too, so it wasn't me. It's someone on the Zoom call.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, it's someone on the Zoom call. Shout out to Fresh Prince CEO who put me on with that. He's like, yo, someone on the Zoom call.
Hey, yo, check this out, man. Check this out. I don't know. Somebody must have figured out. So that was on my end. That was on my end, and I do apologize. They are absolutely not supposed to be allowed to unmute themselves. That was someone in the chat. His name is Walter. He was the one. I actually saw it. I actually saw it right on there. I don't know how he managed. I don't know how he managed to unmute himself, but he is now muted.
It's none of us. It was
no. It was the Zoom call. All right. So, anyway, listen, very, very good discussion. But yeah, it sounds like your priorities might be out of line, right? When we're talking about chasing pussy and getting ass, we got 3,000 niggas in here watching us. But now that we're actually talking, and it's funny because the guys who are the loudest chirpers about, I want to start a business and this and that and the third. Those are the motherfuckers not watching us right now. So shout out to 866 people who are in here really practicing what they preach.
You're right about that.
Yeah, you know how it is, man. I'm trying to start my own business, and then when we got 7 dudes on here telling you exactly how to do it, nowhere to be found. Redfield Mike with the $100 super chat says, I think one of the biggest mistakes that a person can make is putting value on their own resources and then letting their inner circle suck up their resources once they take the smallest step up the ladder of success and fall in the hole at the bottom of the ladder.
MC Hammer.
Dude, hey, shit, real talk, man. Don't bring anybody with you, man. Do not do that. Don't bring anybody with you. Okay, wait, hold on. I got one more. MGTOW Ghost Son. I appreciate the super chat. Dev, is MGTOW Ghost Son, is that the guy you were talking about? Just give me the verification in the what you call it in the Slack, because I have a feeling that that's who that is, because MGTOW Ghost's son is actually. All right. Anyway, we'll figure that out. Okay. So the last question I want to ask to the panel, and we'll just give sort of a round robin, very quick answer before we get to our callers here. Hotep, how important are building good relationships? How important is that to a business?
Oh my God.
Everything.
Oh my God. You know, going back to the brother who raps, right?
Yeah.
And I apologize for not getting everybody's name. I'm so sorry about that. I told artists, I said, before you step inside a studio, go out and mingle and make the connections.
There you go.
Because the connections are more important than the music. Because when you create the music and you got nobody to get it to, it's just you and your homies in the basement listening to your music, and then y'all your own biggest fans. So I told him, like, for example, if you're in a place like New York City, when I was in the scene, and you go to these different spots, SOBs, BB Kings, Uptown, Downtown, all of this stuff, you see a lot of the same faces. And I had this joke, I said, it's like the same 7 people wherever you go. And once you're in them circles, well, for example, when you're in them circles as a rapper, they automatically think like, this guy is going to ask me for a favor. They look at you like a beggar. But when you're there as just an individual or a professional, or even as media, I told him, I said, tell him you're media, right?
Okay.
These people treat you as an equal or a superior, depending on who they are. But when they see you as an artist, it's a whole nother thing. So I said, go out and mingle, make the connections, and get people to like you as a person.
Yep.
And then when you have your thing, you have the people to feed it to, because my business runs all off of connections, man. All of my stuff. I mean, without connections, do I make it to Joe Rogan? Because I was only in Joe Rogan because somebody followed me that was like his homeboy. And they were like, yo, you should have this guy on. And I'm followed by like a lot of top tier people, like a lot of celebrities, a lot of ex-football players, MMA fighters, boxers, and these people make connections. And I hate using that phrase because it's so cliche. Your network is your net worth, but it's not. But it is. It's amazing. It's an amazing thing.
Oh yeah,
are absolutely key. What was that, Jeff?
That was me.
Oh, I'm sorry. What you got, Kev?
Well, when I had my men in training events, the first thing I said was, gentlemen, life happens out there. The second thing I said, life is about people. See, when you make people your priority and people really feel like you can walk with kings and not lose a common touch, you get something that is immeasurable. You get benefit of the doubt.
Oh, there you go.
You get benefit of the doubt. You can make a horrible mistake in the market, but if you have relationships, people will be like, Donovan really shit the bed on this one. I know, man, but he's a good guy. I mean, he came to my kid's soccer party. He came to my kid's bar mitzvah. I mean, he didn't have to do that. I mean, he actually, he didn't, I saw him out in public and he didn't, big ball me. He shook my hand, looked me in the eye. I'm still going to watch. I'm still going to be a fan. I mean, I don't like what he did, but, we all make mistakes.
That matters, man. It really does.
It matters. Yeah. Because here's at the end of the day, let's be reasonable. The world is not run by the smartest people. The best product doesn't win. I talk about Tesla versus Edison. Being right does not make you a winner. People liking you is the difference.
Donovan, can I tell a story real fast? Back off of Kev.
Sure.
So when we started out in the record industry, as an act, my partner said, yo, we're going to hit the streets. And we hit the streets Thursday, Friday, Saturday, because everybody was on the internet. So we started hitting the streets. And the first time we started hitting the clubs in the college neighborhood, they wouldn't let us in. And we was like, cool, we're not really beat that beat. We just handing out flyers. Don't you know, a month later, we started walking in these clubs. The bouncers was letting us in with the book bag on. We wasn't getting patted down. And then one time we was outside this club and it was a different set of bouncers. And we went to go walk up to the club, and he was like, yo, y'all can't come in wearing whatever y'all wearing. And we were like, all right, cool. We're not sweating it. And a local that was sitting right outside said, what are you doing? These dudes is always out here hustling. You got to let them in.
Damn, man.
And the bouncer was like, oh, word? My bad. I ain't know that. I'm new here. And then they let us in. But that was the relationships we had made by just beating the street. Like Kev said, it's out there. Go outside, leave the internet. Also, when I tell people, they say, you know, how do you build your social media following? Social media is the prime. It's show and tell. You got to show what you're doing in real life.
Yes.
A lot of these cats are online ain't did nothing in real life.
Right.
So people looking at me like, yo, how you doing it? I'm like, yo, because I'll be moving and shaking in real life. So you come to social media to show off what you do in real life. And that's why people struggle getting a following online.
I like that, man.
One of the reasons I came to Manhattan, I call Instagram the frat room. Between when I left at 3 o'clock and getting on this show, I made 5 Instagram live videos. Woo. People seeing me just walking down the street, living, talking to people. I actually catchphrases from my show. Excuse me, ma'am. Where'd you buy that dog? Are you a PhD? And people are laughing and shit. Then I put the big Brazilian Latina on it. Yeah. And people are like, they see that you're out in these streets. And that's why I told Jap, you have an advantage, bro, because you are moving in these streets. People really want to see that we are real people, that we're fallible. Yes. We fuck up, we make mistakes. And that's what gets us the benefit of the doubt, because they can see it. It's not a scripted such and so forth. This live streaming shit and being out in public, that's a real skill. We're digital politicians, baby.
Listen, I like digital politicians, but I like that. What we do online right here is a manifestation of what we do offline, right? So many people think, oh, I'm just going to start a YouTube channel. Like, fam, you haven't left the crib in 6 weeks. Like, what are you really doing? Most people actually think, here's a picture of my ass, or yeah, here's me working out doing this. No, you have to be out, like, actually doing shit, man. And people respect that.
I got something real quick, Donovan, when you're done. Oh, go ahead, go Solo.
Okay, Solo, then Myron. Oh, goodness gracious, I forgot. Oh, how now you're the king of social circle game. You of all people can speak to the importance of connections when starting a business. Talk to me.
Definitely. And first, I got to say, shout out to Kevin, because he made a controversial live stream recently about white women stealing all the good black men. And I decided, you know what? You know what? This is a good opportunity for me to make a response. And all you see my response videos, like my actual life. You see the social circle.
Yes.
You see us popping bottles. It's all in the video. You see the high value men that I be telling about. You see me in the Bentley. So it's like when people say, oh, Solo's always talking shit, a lot of the stuff that I talk about, Donovan, I was doing that even before I was on YouTube.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? A lot of people think, oh, you're just doing it now because you're a YouTuber and you make this money. No, I don't make that much money on YouTube. Trust me.
Right.
I was doing a lot of this stuff, social circle and, all that stuff, girl. I was doing, matter of fact, I was doing it even more before YouTube. It's just now, because of my time being restricted, I don't really do it as much. But being able to network has allowed me to have access, Donovan,
yes,
to certain people and places that I wouldn't normally have access to. When I was out in LA, I interviewed Matt Alonzo, who's a popular music director. He's done music videos for The Game, Lil Wayne, Justin Bieber, all types of artists. And I met him coincidentally. He watched you first, and then he found out about me. And I'm like, okay, cool.
That's what's up.
And then I also met Ike, the chat god. He's known on Kevin's channel. He's a legend. He makes it rain. We call him the chat god, right? Because he always makes it rain. And I interviewed him about high value men. So people got to understand, like, your ability to network is your net worth, because you are out there. I mean, gosh, man, I could go in for this for hours, because being able to network is the last 2 out of 3 jobs that I had. I found out through my network. Somebody says, hey, Solo doesn't have a job right now. Let me refer him. All I had to do was show up, and the job was basically mine. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It gives you so much access. And one thing I've realized being on YouTube is a lot of guys don't have a network or social circle. No. That's why they're on these like 8-hour live streams on Saturday night, because like they don't really have that. And I mean, really, it opens up a lot of doors. And I think that is something that people don't realize, that who you meet and your ability to to meet people will allow you to have access to certain different things, like I said.
Okay, very good. Myron, what do you got on building good relationships?
Man, this is critical, you know. And what so people always ask me, hey, Myron, how'd you grow your YouTube so fast? You know, for those that don't know, I started my YouTube in May, and now we're in November, and I'm almost 9K subs.
Yeah.
And you know, the Patreon has exploded. We were able to, you know, invest that money back into the studio, and you know, people tell me all the time, your come up has been fast. And I'm not going to sit here and tell you guys I did it myself. Like, I did it when we did our first show, man. I shouted out everybody that helped me. You know what I mean? All the guys on this panel, John from Modern Life Dating, Richard Cooper, Rollo Tomasi, all these guys, man. And that is if you guys want to look at networking and like getting out there and meeting people, I'm the prodigy for that, man. Because what I did was I basically aligned myself with guys, right, and brought value to their audience. And then they were able to, like, you know, showcase me in front of their audience. People like my stuff. And just by me being able to get out there, you know, people can see that we got the receipts. We're here in Miami. Obviously, I'm teaching guys how to deal with women in a contemporary marketplace as a 30-year-old guy, because obviously I got the cold approach down and I got the social media game and all this other crap down, and online dating. People resonate with that. But I wouldn't have had that platform had I not built the strong relationships with people like you, Donovan. You know, you gave me a chance. And I'm here now. Lucario, same thing. Solo, same thing. All you guys took a chance to put me on your channel, and you guys didn't have to do that. But that is the importance of networking and having a good product. Like I told you guys, when we first came on the show, it's important to not just be good at what you do, but to be extraordinary at what you do, because other people are going to notice. And when you're extraordinary at what you do and you speak with conviction, when you tell people, like, I could talk fitness all day. I'll sit here and debate with a PhD all fucking day about calories in versus calories out, sugar, all that stuff. And I can cite sources like off the top of my head. For everyone that looks at my fitness content, which they never do, they always look at the womanizing stuff. I always put studies, right? You know what I mean? I always put studies underneath all my fitness videos to back my claims. You know, oh, is keto important? Well, is keto better than other diets? No, it's not. Just, you know, calorie restriction. You know, if you keep protein equate, it's the same thing. I could literally repeat this stuff. So people saw that, and they're like, all right, I'm gonna give this guy a chance. And then you just give me, you know, just let me get one foot in there, and you know, I was able to explode. So I want to thank everybody on this panel for giving me a shot. And quite frankly, thanks to Donovan, I've been able to meet Lucario. Actually, I introduced Lucario and Donovan together, but now I've been able to meet Hotep. I'm already talking to him on the side. I'll get to do a collab. Got Solo TV. Kev Samuels, when he comes to Miami, you already got him organized to come on the show. Had I not been able to network, I wouldn't be where I'm at now. So I want to thank everybody on this panel and everybody that helped me get here, man. So thank you.
It goes back to what Kev always says about the high value man, and having that circle and being of use.
Yeah, I was going to say that.
I think that everybody, we're using each other, but we're not misusing each other.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So I can call Kev for advice because I need to cool down sometimes, and I need to cool that shit down a little bit. And don't fuck up the business. Then I call you, Donovan, for some technical shit.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And the new innovative shit. You know what I'm saying? I'm calling Myron when I was doing this diet because I gotta lose some weight. We're gonna be of use for each other, and it's like a league of extraordinary gentlemen. You know what I'm saying? And
It is.
with one fucking phone call, if you can't get in touch with one of us, we could put something together and put plays together. And right now, I hate to get off subject, but today I've been talking about it. This new presidency that we're about to be in, black men gonna have to stick together.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes.
The feminine energy
Trump
is
won.
coming your way. It's about to be very powerful. A lot of these bitches are gonna be empowered, and if you're in corporate America, you need to form alliances with your brothers, and each one of you motherfuckers gonna have to help each other because these bitches are not gonna have your fucking back, and they are about to win and stick it to your ass right about now. So,
Facts.
You know, one of the things
it's gonna help you win. Go ahead, Kev.
One of the things that I think is most important that we can't see how many people are watching us.
Yeah.
I think I heard Solo mention one day he was out at a restaurant and the waitress came up and said, "You're watching Kevin Samuels."
Right.
Facts.
I'm in Atlanta and you're in Minnesota, but a restaurant. I mean, what a.
You can't even comprehend that, right?
But more importantly, People are seeing how we work together, all these different personalities every Sunday on the show. And what it shows is an ability to ally. We have people out there who are far bigger, far larger, far more notable, trying to make an entrance onto these platforms, watching us right now to see if they should actually reach out to us to possibly work together.
Yes, they do.
They're looking at how we interact with one another, saying, okay,
it
might be worth a phone call or reach out to this guy and to see if we can bring him into this side of it. Because, like it or not, the thing we do right now that we figure is so common is extraordinary to a lot of people.
Oh, yes, it is. Oh, yeah. Listen, there's only one show like this on YouTube. There's only one show like this. I want to go back to something that, and this is something that Kevin talks about, something that Jeff just alluded to. If you want the best way to break into a network is you have to bring something of value. You have to bring something of use. And Myron thanks us for, he says, you took a chance on me. Listen, I appreciate you saying that, but I didn't take a chance on you. I knew you were legit. I had watched you long enough and heard you long enough to the point where I knew that you knew what you were talking about. Myron used to be a viewer on my channel. He was a viewer on my channel a year and a half ago. Myron used to call in, I don't know, 2-3 times a week. And he never just called to talk to just talk, hey, you know, I'm starting a new podcast or I'm going to do this. No, he called and he offered value. He told, dude, he would tell stories about his nights out in pickup. So when I saw his area code on there, I knew it was him, and I'm going to him because he brings something of value. Gentlemen, if you're looking to break into a group of high value men to network, you're going to have to understand you need to bring something of value. You can't just say, hey, I want to be a part of the club. What do I have to do? No, you have to proactively bring value to the group because you guys have to understand, we probably don't even have time to be doing what we're doing right now. Like that's how valuable our time is. And that's not us saying, well, listen, if you want to be a part of us, we need to get something from you. No. It's not about that. It's you humbling yourself to the point, listen, I offer you my knowledge. I offer you some sort of programming assistance. This is how it's done. People don't network for nothing. And if you're going to break into the network, you're going to have to offer something of value to that group. Go ahead.
You know what else it is, Donovan? Sorry to cut you off.
No, go ahead. Good.
When you're like the gentleman on this panel, it's not like the person who comes and asks for favor is the only one. They're one of many. And, so it's like when you come to, like, sometimes people hit me up and I'm like, all right, I'm going to get back to them later. And because my subconscious mind was like, that wasn't important, I might just forget about you.
Right.
But the people that lead with value take priority in our mind. And then we're like, oh, let me get back to them. All right, let me add them. Boom, boom. And now you're already in the network. That's why you want to lead with value, not because we want something, but because we're so busy, we might just forget about you. You get lost in the noise.
Right. And listen, and someone now with your celebrity, I knew that if I wanted to have you on the show, I was like, okay, if I'm going to have Hotep Jesus on my show, I need to have him. Dude, we need first class accommodations. Dude, I got to listen. I sent you an Uber Black. You live a very relatively short distance. I didn't have to fly you here. I sent you an Uber Black to and from. Dude took care of all your expenses. Those are the kinds of things we're talking about. That's not a bribe, but because if Hotep Jesus is going to sacrifice an entire day to come out and listen to me run my mouth for my little audience, then guess what? I need to be able to make it worth his while. I need to make it a positive experience. This is how networking is done. You do not get something for nothing. It's just like Hotep said. Guys like us aren't just going to say, nah, we don't want it. No, it's hard to explain, but you absolutely positively have to have value. So you need to look inside yourself. Well, I want to break into this network, but what can I offer? What can I offer that they can't get anywhere else? Because when you're talking about taking up somebody's time to quote unquote take a chance on you, you have to be worth taking a chance on, man. Listen, and I aligned myself with Myron for many, many reasons. He doesn't realize this, but I knew I was going to align with that guy sooner or later.
Hey, Donovan, can I say something?
I'll go after Solo. Go ahead, Solo.
Oh yeah, go ahead. Solo.
Yeah. So I mean, it's not a secret. When I first started YouTubing, right, I would have different personalities on my panel, and then what happened is a few of those guys were unknown. They exploded then to become some of the biggest people even on the platform, right? And you guys already know a lot of these names. And then I realized now I've got all these emails coming in. People all of a sudden want to jump on my platform to do interviews and such. And it became to a point where it's like, okay, not everybody's worth an interview. So either I'm going to put a price on it or I'm not going to do it at all. And so that's what it's become to. And I know certain people don't like it, but it is what it is. Now, not everybody can come on Solo TV 84 unless I do like an open panel show. You know what I mean? So that's what it is. Your value does go up too. The more you grind and increase and people notice that, yeah, your price is going to go up. It is what it is. Yeah.
Wait, which one's Myron? Who's Myron?
This guy right here, that's Myron.
That's me, man.
Oh, you're Myron. Okay.
Yeah,
Who's
yeah.
the rapper?
That's the rapper.
Minister Jap. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm just trying to get the names down. I'm not trying to.
Good, it's all good, bro.
Because Minister Jap, I'm like looking at him like, I feel like I know this cat. Where you from?
Chicago.
Okay, nah. You look like somebody around the way. All right, my fault. My bad. Go ahead. I just wanted to.
Real quick. I was going to say something.
I want to say something real quick.
Go ahead. You asked first. My bad.
Yeah, just as far as the value stuff is going, as what we're talking about is in working with people, is that the reason why you got to bring value if you want to network and work with people and have other people work with you is because the people you're trying to work with also need to see if you're actually really bringing value and if you're actually authentic, if you're a good person to work with. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. Because if you're not, what's going to happen is that you don't want to be in a situation where a person doesn't want to work with you because they also don't want to be associated with you because of how you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So not only do you have to bring value as far as like the content, your products or whatever, but you also have to bring value in your work ethic and how you or deal with people and relate to people. You see what I mean? So
it's like what Myron just said is what I just said before. You were watching him while he was calling, and if his overall brand had not looked the way it did, the email or the phone call likely would not have happened.
Right.
And this is what I'm saying, that it's so important for all of us to. Gary Vee wrote a book called Jab, 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 Right Hook. Give, then ask. You lead with value. Because value is something that if you're really doing it for the right reasons, it has multiple benefits. And something that Lucario was ultimately saying, that when you are doing things that provide value and in your interpersonal relationships and your business practices or whatever, you get something that I was saying earlier. You get the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah, man. That's all right.
You just get the benefit of the doubt.
Real quick.
Just real quick. I want to say this too, man, and this is the importance of paying it back. So for those that don't know, I got my first 1K subs thanks to Solo TV 84, man.
Right.
So, and the thing is that I always shout out the people that help me out. And my goal is actually I want to blow up simply so I can pay it back to the guys that believed in me when no one did. And that's one thing a lot of people I notice don't do. I'm not going to say no names, but they'll blow up and they don't fucking pay homage to the guys that put them on in the first place. They forget about them. All of a sudden, oh yeah, you know what I'm saying? I'm not going to say no names, but that's bullshit. And quite frankly, anybody that helped put you on, one of the first things you need to do when you get successful is you need to remember the people that put you on and then get them right to come back and help you because they believed in you when no one else did. And now you need to pay back homage. And I think that's something that's lacking. A lot of people think, oh, I made it now. Fuck all those guys before, or they're haters now, or whatever. It's like, nah, they put you on, and now you don't want to put them back on. They should be mad because they should have fucking charged your dumb ass back then. And actually, I told Solo too. I agree with him. He should be charging motherfuckers because people don't pay homage, man. I shout out Solo at least once a stream, bro. And people just need to put respect on the guys that put them on, man. I always shout out the people that help me. So I think that's also been really helpful for me for my successes because you always got to pay it back to people that put you on, man. Always.
I agree. Real quick before Jeff goes, it's very important to pay homage to the people that put you on, but you also need to understand that there are people who will claim responsibility for your success when they're actually just kind of using you. I may or may not be talking about myself. There are people who help you along the way. And it would be like when somebody wins an Academy Award, I'd like to think this person they think the people that made the coffee, those people get mentioned last, but they do get mentioned. But you got to watch out, man, because some people help you out. They help you out to help you out, but only because they want something in return. They want to say, oh, you see that guy?
Yeah.
I put him on. They want to act like they want to act like they're a kingmaker, right? So while it's very important to understand to shout the people out who did help you out along the way, it is equally important to understand that not everyone that helps you is doing it with good intentions. A lot of people that help you it's almost like they're a loan shark and they're trying to get something on the back end. And as soon as you don't even have to do anything. As soon as they feel slighted when you start to get successful, now all of a sudden they're making up reasons to go off on you. You got to really watch out for guys like that. I'm going to go to Jap and then Solo.
Now, what you're saying is basically when you creating your own competition. A lot of people they want your life.
Yes,
you gotta pay attention to that as well. But I like people like Dame Dash. Dame Dash said it at one of his rants where he was like cursing out everybody from DJ Clue to all of these different motherfuckers. Like, you have a crew, and you don't need one person over the crew, because that when he falls off, everybody else is broke. So the goal is when you get on, you get your man on, you get him on, you get him on, you get him on, you get him on. So if you ever fall off, you created your own safety net. Everybody he can give you a piece, he can give you a piece, he can give you a piece, he can give you a piece. Now you back whole again.
Okay.
Another thing that I noticed that what you did, Donovan, that a lot of other brothers got to start doing as well, is don't be afraid to invest in your reputation. Yeah. So the fact is, like, you had this network and you reached out to everybody. It was a favor for a favor thing, you know what I'm saying? As far as we didn't misuse anybody, but your reputation of the professionalism, that's going to be something that other people are going to advertise. So the way we were treated on that trip down to Philly, everybody's going to be your biggest advertisers. Oh man, if your name comes up, man, you got to work with my man Donovan, man. Nothing but professional.
That's true.
It was top notch. He treated me like, you know what I'm saying, like a celebrity, you know what I'm saying? And he did what he said he was going to do, and everything was on time. He was professional. We got the job done. That's your reputation.
There you go.
You got to be willing to invest in that. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of guys, you know, they slap shit together, and then other people are not gonna recommend you for whatever reason.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Even if you might have good work. But if you're not ready to perform when it's time to perform, as if your reputation is on the line, then you know you're gonna ruin your other chances to advance and to get new people into your circle.
Yeah, man, that's important, man. It's important. It's important to do what you say you're going to do. Solo, go ahead, and then we'll get to the super chats and then our call here.
Law number 5: 48 laws of power. So much depends on reputation. Guard it with your life. One of the biggest reasons why I'm able to collab with so many people, Donovan, is because people know that if they come on my channel, solo TV isn't messy. Now, granted, I've had a few tiffs here and there, obviously, right?
All right.
Let's be honest. I'm not going to lie. I've had a few tiffs here and there, but anybody who watches me knows if they come on my platform, I'm a very fair and balanced person. I do play devil's advocate to, keep it entertaining here sometimes with the interviews, but people know that if I come on Solo's channel, he's going to treat me fair, and he doesn't do messy business. I mean, anybody who has something negative to say about me behind the scenes, that person is probably the shady one, because anybody who knows me in the YouTube world knows like Solo's a solid dude, this and that. And I'm not here to make it about myself, but your reputation is very, very important. And, and let's be honest, and Donovan, I know why you left NiggaTube, because it's so messy. You got people trying to dox people, people talking about, I'm trying to, I'm smashing your ex-girlfriend or something, flying girls out and doing all a bunch of weirdo stuff on niggas side of YouTube that I don't even, like when Xander's Clutch hits me up, shout out to Clutch, I'm like, I don't even watch that stuff. I don't even pay attention. So what I'm saying is your reputation also in real life is important, because nowadays we live in such a politically correct era that if you mess up on certain things, it can mess you up. Even if it's not true, it's very important. And I think that that's one of the reasons why we all work so well together on this panel, is that most of us, we have a very good reputation, not just on YouTube, but probably off YouTube as well. And the reality is that a lot of the public beef is not good for business.
No,
Let's be honest. It's not. And that's one of the reasons why, like I said, Donovan, if certain people say something about me, I won't respond. You know what I mean?
Yeah, right.
I won't respond. I'll leave it at that, because at the end of the day, it is what it is. So that's what I say.
A lot of super chats. Let me try and blow through these as quickly as I can, and then we'll get to our callers. Chris Von Erich, $20 super chat. One thing I've learned from Donovan watching the rest of the men on this panel is it takes time to refine your craft. I am very thankful for finding you all. Yeah, you absolutely have to. You have to be evolving. You have to be evolving. Walter Varner with the $10 super chat. Appreciate that. I've already shouted out MGTOW Go Sun. King Sargon II with the $5 super chat says the tipping the jar. Daniel L, $5 says, glad to be a patron. Going to be rewatching this many times for sure. Yeah, I might actually rewatch this myself, because there's a lot of good information being presented here. Unique 79, 10 British pounds says, I just want to thank you all for the amount of time and sacrifice that you all make to help us better ourselves. As Solo TV 84 said, you are all running on fumes. You are all truly appreciated. Thank you very much for that. I appreciate that very much. Yeah, man. Tom A, $20 says, thanks for the info. I moved from Texas to New Jersey and have zero social media presence. It gets a bit lonely, but I've been staying on my purpose and increasing my knowledge base. I am very utilitarian, bought crypto in 2017, killing it. There it is. He's probably rich now. Ghost St. Patrick 85, $2 super chat says, not sure if my last super chat posted. It probably did, but there are a lot. If I missed it, I do apologize. Roy Coppin, $5 says, at Kevin, I'm 22 years old, creative, big Atlanta brands. Now I'm in Denver, have been on my own the last 2 years since Beer Bug. Nothing. Advice? What you got for him, Kev?
Since he's 24 and he's what?
He's 22. He's creative, big Atlanta brands. Now he's in Denver. He's been on his own the last couple of years, but since the 91 Devok, nothing.
Well, look, at 22, man, you got to give yourself some time. You know, you're young, man. You still got to, you got till 30 before you should start actually counting up your chips.
Yeah.
You got 18 to 30, you got nothing. Just keep your head down, keep pushing.
Yeah, dude, you're young. You have plenty of time to make a mistake.
Facts.
MGTOW Go Sun, $15 says, there are only a very small amount of people on the planet who want to do the work to reach success. This kind of content always has very few viewers because most people aren't ready to do the work.
Facts.
And big facts. Black Bleach, $5 says, like Jappa said, with Scamala in office, P should be your last concern for the next 4 years. Chase, build power, never P. Yeah, exactly. Don't worry about these hoes out here, man. Listen, and I think we've all heard this before. Men who chase women almost always lose money, but a man never ever loses women chasing money. Always keep that in mind, man.
Oh God. I'm sorry. I'm about the corporate business. I'm sorry.
I just want to highlight something for the people that's watching.
Yeah, sure. What you got?
Minister Jap just predicted the future.
Uh-oh.
He said with this potential new Biden presidency, femininity is going to be at an all-time high, and men have to start creating these fraternities of sort. I just want to highlight that because that's been on my mind ever since he said it.
We just talked about that on my show today, man. I forgot what I called it. Black man, are you prepared for German Shepherd supremacy?
German Shepherd supremacy. German Shepherd. Where's my dog sound? Roof, roof.
He's
talking shit.
I'll tell you what. Listen, the event that we put on in Vegas, that is going to be that. Listen, that's going to be at a premium, man. Guys are definitely going to need that. Mr. C with the $100 super chat says, thanks for the knowledge. Appreciate that. James Young, $5 says, thank you, gentlemen. I got to catch the rest tomorrow. 4:30 comes very quickly. King Rob, $5 says, tips on making the transition from job and business to full-time on business. Any tips?
You stack your chicken so you got at least 3 to 6 months reserves to live.
There you go.
And then start generating revenue from the business. And once the revenue is meeting or exceeding what you're getting from your job, then it's probably safe to quit. But that's kind of like the thought process behind it. And also invest in the stock market.
Okay, very good. My tip is if you want to start a business, make it a hobby first. Okay. If you get good at the hobby, then you know you're probably going to be good at the business. When your hobbies, just like Hotep said, when your hobby starts making you as much, if not more money than your job, that's when you can transition. Dave's Pepsi, 10 Canadian dollars, says, is there a book I should read to learn sales? Thank you to the panel of digital politicians. That's an interesting question. A book to learn sales. Anybody got anything on that?
Yes.
Zig Ziglar, Tom Hopkins?
Yes.
What do you got, Kevin?
It's a boring read, but it's probably most powerful. The Challenger Sale. The Challenger Sale.
Okay.
Zig Ziglar, these are good sales motivational, but true sales Bible. The Challenger Sale, basically, it says what kind of salesperson is been most successful in up markets, down markets, any product, any season. And it's the salesperson is the challenger. He teaches, tailors, and takes control. There are 5 different sales types. That one book will get you basically the basis of becoming a professional salesperson. And I really have an issue because I'm a professional salesperson, and many people call themselves salespeople, and we ain't. That's like somebody called themselves a lawyer and they went to law school. You gotta actually. Man, sorry, man. Sometimes people are like, I'm a salesperson. Where you work, man? I work at the phone center over. Hey, man.
I knew that was coming, man.
Yeah, I mean, I think the key to sales is keep the other person talking.
Mm-hmm. There you go. Keep the other person talking, and also people do not protect what they don't have. So if they don't give you any objections, they ain't got no money. No objections equals no money. The challenge
keep them talking, open-ended questions.
Say it again. What did he say?
He said how to keep them talking. Tell him again, Minister.
Open-ended questions. Questions that are not one-word answers. You know what I'm saying?
Open-ended questions, right?
Yeah. Wait, I got a book. I got a book, The Art of the Deal by Donald Trump. That's a great book. I read it a while ago. You know what? I got to say this. Donald Trump, hate him or love him, but Donald Trump, he's got probably his persuasiveness skills is amazing. I've never seen somebody like that because the way that he speaks, Donovan, how he like patterns his words, he's able to like implant an idea, but then he didn't really say it, but you think so. Like he speaks in hyperbole, I believe that's the word. But he's a genius at it, and he's got really good persuasion skills. And you know, as a guy, I study psychology a lot, and when I see how Trump talks, because there's certain people, if you pay attention, certain politicians or celebrities, they talk a certain way, and a lot of people think that Trump is basic, but by him keeping it simple, that's one of the reasons, you know, why he won in 2016 and in 2020, and that's a different topic. But the way that he talks, it's amazing. He's got great persuasion skills, and I think in sales, that's definitely important to be able to persuade
it simple
to do that. Yeah.
Not only that, I feel like he speaks in such a way that makes you draw the conclusion he wants you to draw. Like he'll ask certain, and dude, my anger management therapist used to do this all the time. My anger management therapist never told me anything. He used to ask me these leading questions, and right at the end, I'm like, oh, I understand. So he really sort of uses your own brain to sort of make you figure that out. I think Trump's good at that too. Fonzo Will, $10, appreciate that. Zombie Fiva, $5. Thanks for the info. He says about getting into the inner circle. It opened my eyes to the fact that I have to create value for others not to be ignored. There you go.
That's it.
Andre Francis, $5, says those who get a recommendation represent themselves and those who recommend them. Failure hurts both you and those who recommended you. Wow. Mm-hmm. The chatters are on point today. Phoenix Fats, $2, says true words. Read everything before signing. Yeah, I think that's true words never spoken. Tom A, another $10. Says narcissistic folks never pay homage. They see it as a defeat or degrading. They use the ladder and pull it up once they get to the top.
Facts.
Bad strategy because opportunities will evaporate. That's how
the chatters are on point, man. And it shows. You want to know why? Because our viewership when we talk about girls is like triple this. But when we're talking about business, making money, becoming successful, only like 1/3 of the viewers are here. But these are the high IQ guys right now that are tuning in right now.
Quality, not quantity.
Yep.
Dude, listen, and this is funny. And listen, not to bag our other audience that tunes in when we talk about girls, but this is why the chat conversations are on point, because these are, dude, this is our audience. I agree with you, Myra. These are our high IQ guys, and they're showing it. By the way, Kevin Roy Coppin, he's a 22-year veteran in creative and advertising. He's 46.
Okay.
So he's 46. He was in Atlanta. Now he's in Denver. Things are drying up. Now that you have that new information, how would you refine your?
If you're a 22-year pro in advertising, again, it comes down to your network. So, I mean, my network is not Denver or Atlanta; it's the world.
Yes.
What does your LinkedIn profile look like? How are you attached in Denver? Does when someone thinks of your industry, do they know your company or you? See, we can be very good at what we do, but if people don't know us, it doesn't matter. So what I would say is you need to really go on a personal branding campaign to make yourself known wherever you go. Trust me. If I decide to move to New York City, you watch what happens. When I moved to Atlanta, I said, I'm going to become one of the most known guys around Atlanta because I got out and moved around. I was invited to 8 parties in under 9 weeks. We cannot just sit in the house and expect the world to come to us. We got to actually get out there and campaign for what we want out of life.
I like it, dude. That's the best advice online. It's just like Hotep said. A lot of people want to build brands just being a talking head on whatever platform. No, you got to go out and you got to live life. That's what makes it happen. The last
one more thing though.
Yeah, go ahead.
A lot of guys got to be this shit every day, man. Like,
you
know what I'm saying? Like, if you building your business, I don't give a fuck. You got a roofing company or whatever like that. You know, walk around with your roofing shirt. Walk around. Make sure you got your cards on you. Make sure you always networking. You always selling. You know what I mean? Like when I go out, I'm with Minister Jack. You know what I'm saying? I'm always the face of the brand, so I get people asking questions. You know what I mean? Because again, like they say in business, is what ABC, but it's ABS.
Always be closing.
Always be closing.
Always be closing. You know, same thing, man. You got to represent it. So I'm pretty sure a person like Lucario, he walking around, probably got 2-3 books on him, probably got a trunk full of them. You know what I'm saying? Like,
those are facts.
You got to do this shit. Like sometimes, man, I want to be you. I want to
believe it.
Donovan Sharpe's trunk. It's probably all types of Sharpe experience shit. It's probably all types of the fresh fit. You know what I mean? You have got to live this shit, and you don't know where your next buck is going to be coming, especially being your own business.
Can I piggyback off of what Kev said about building your own brand in the city? If you're in a place like Denver, I don't know if you know this, but the CPCs in Denver are probably really cheap. So you could shoot a commercial and run it inside a particular zip code. And the way people watch YouTube now, they usually watch on their TV. So you're going to pop up as an ad, as in a commercial. And that gives a certain impression in their mind when they see you on their TV screen.
Hold on, I got to say something. I come from an advertising and sales background, okay? CPC is cost per 1,000 impressions, by the way, guys. All right. CPM. Okay. So first thing I did in Oklahoma, deep red state, as a black man who's an image consultant not known, I had $5,000 to spend. Instead of going to buy a pay-per-click or this or that, I went on to the local Fox affiliate morning show and bought TV advertising. Because to see a black man on TV, that means I didn't just throw up a website, not fly by night. I'm on camera being interviewed by a couple of white women who are like, oh my God, you smell so good. And you can see me there at the beginning of my business when it was at the bottom. But that was the first thing, because you got to ultimately build your brand, and it's indelible. I saw this guy on TV. He must be legitimate. That's how we work.
I like it, man. Listen, anybody can throw up a website. Not to say that websites aren't important, but I mean, a website. Hang on a second. Now I've got somebody that is. Okay, never mind. Why do I keep hearing
Zoom shit? Check the Zoom shit.
Yeah, I just looked at it and I don't. Hang on a second. Let me mute this. Okay, there we go. Can you guys still hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So here's how this works, man. Anybody can throw up a website or Okay, I'm going to close Zoom because I don't know where that's coming from, and I'm just going to end the meeting for everybody, and that's just going to have to be that. I don't know why in the world. Listen, the guys kept, for whatever reason, dudes kept unmuting themselves, and I said it to not unmute. So, anyway, now I still get the echo. What the hell is this coming from?
Okay, you good now.
Okay,
Yeah, it's gone now.
Anyway, yeah, just like Kevin says, people see you on TV, they think you're legit. Everybody's got a YouTube channel. Listen, you have to think about what people are doing. Everybody's got YouTube. Everybody's got an Instagram. Everybody's got a this. Everybody's got a that. Everybody's got a website. If you get on TV, people will think you're legit. And oh, by the way, believe it or not, guys, getting on television is not as hard as you might think. But you know what it takes? It takes investing. You have to invest. You have to spend money. And if you want to be on a TV network, you're going to have to bring something of value. You have to bring yourself, your brand. You're going to have to pay some money. But it's too expensive. Then you don't want it bad enough. Janik, with the 25 Hong Kong dollars, says the most insulting thing I get when I talk about my business ventures is "you're so lucky." I want to yell, "It's work, not luck, you mother effing fool." Appreciate you keeping that clear for YouTube. Hologram EMC $2 says, "Say no to German Shepherd supremacy." That is unbelievably, that is incredible.
It's real, man.
I'm trying to tell y'all, man. Says, shout out to K-Sam for making it okay to boast high value status. Black Men Media is here, and we will rewrite our image. Truer words never spoken. This is just the beginning, guys. It's not just going to be a weekly podcast where we're all on somebody's screen. We're going to take this offline. We're going to be live and in living color in the flesh out in the world much sooner than later. Roy Kaufman, $5 says, "Kevin, facts. I'm a hermit and I need to get out." See that?
Yeah.
All it was. That's all it was, man. And now, dude, you probably just changed that dude's life, man.
Mm-hmm.
Nonstop Dre 360, $5 says, "Thank you, gents, for the great content and guide on achieving real excellence. Any advice for new developers trying to make it in the tech industry?" Hotep Jesus, that's all you, brother. What is your advice to this guy trying to make it in the tech industry?
I would say live on Reddit. Reddit is a gold mine. There's people on Reddit that have problems with all types of situations in your life, and there's gems there. And if you're a dev, you can just solve problems just from what you find on Reddit. Also, don't feel like you need to have like the best app in the world to make something happen. A lot of the greatest apps in this world are really simple apps. They really are like they don't do anything spectacular. They didn't take hours to code. So I think there's different ways to think about tech. It's like hours of code and then like what I can patch together in like 24 hours. The ones that can patch together in 24 hours are probably going to have a higher ROI than this stuff. And don't build a social network. That's going to destroy your time.
You know how the world was revolutionized by a 12-year-old? It's called the sticky note.
Oh my God.
Simple stuff is always the best. It's simple. It don't have to be revolutionary. And to the guy who said he's a hermit, look, man, 90% of life is showing up.
That's right.
You just show up, and guess what? If you've ever had a one-night stand, you showed up. You showed up. It's not that hard.
Listen, you're right. Listen, 90% is just showing up, man. That's what it comes down to. And he admitted to us. He said, "Listen, I'm a hermit." You guys probably changed that dude's life. Guys, we have crossed over the 2-hour mark. I got to tell you, man, this is dude, these shows keep getting better and better. I think, honestly, informationally, this might be the best show we've done, man. Like, this is season 2, episode 3 or 4. And listen, season 1 was fantastic, but dude, I think season 2 is definitely off with a bang. A special thanks goes out to Hotep Jesus for being a fantastic guest panelist, man. Thank you for the wisdom and the insight. Tell the people where they can find you, your products, your website, etc.
BryanSharpe.co, BryanSharpe.co. If you check me out on Twitter, the link is also in my Twitter bio. Just type in Hotep Jesus on Twitter, and you'll be able to find me there. And all of my information is on my website.
Okay, good stuff. BryanSharpe.co. Again, Brian Sharpe, no relation to one Donovan Sharpe or Shannon Sharpe. All right. Let's all do a quick closing salvo. Just kind of put a bow on the conversation in terms.
We're not doing the Zoom thing.
No, because the guys for whatever reason it kept getting unmuted. So I'm just gonna I'm gonna have to refine that. And we usually don't go this long, but this conversation was very stimulating. So we usually last about an hour and a half or so, but 2 hours, and I'm an old man. I'm pushing. I gotta go to bed soon. So that's
okay. Yeah, me too.
I'm about to fall asleep here. All right, so let's give our closing salvos on just, wrap the whole entrepreneurial thing up. And again, I want us to really think about this from a black man's perspective. And listen, I'll start with Hotep first, man, because some of the things that you talked about with I guess he called it the snow bunny, the snow bunny cosign, to people not really giving you credit for what you did and just kind of chalking it up to other things. Just kind of, in a nutshell, Hotep, I want to start a business. Give me your 30-second elevator pitch. Should I do it? Should I not do it? Go.
You got to believe in yourself. Yep. Nobody's going to believe in you. Your mama not going to believe in you. Your daddy not going to believe in you. And even if they believe in you, they might not believe in what you're doing. You know, when I chose to become a rapper, my mama told me I was bugging. My daddy told me I was bugging. We turned out to be a national touring group. And then I polyed that into a blog and polyed that into 50 Cent and polyed that into a tech entrepreneur. But it's because, and everybody told me to go to college, and I was like, no, I'm not going. And look at me now. Everybody's like, you did the right thing, So you got to believe in yourself, man, and trust the vision, trust the gene. And as soon as things aren't going right, don't be afraid to pivot.
Okay, yes. Don't be afraid to pivot. I think Japs had that a little bit earlier. You have to listen to the market, man. The market doesn't give a shit about what you want. The market wants what the market wants. Jap, give us your closing salvo on this whole entrepreneurial small business thing from a black man's point of view.
Well, you got to understand, man, the average black man is not thinking like this. So you're going to view it as crazy. And you got to be willing to deal with the backlash of people being doubters and detractors for what you're trying to do. That's why I always say you got to separate the elevate. Main thing, you want to eliminate all distractions. And the moment that you start making money, a lot of guys, they just think that they're making money. So now that they're finished, you got to reinvest into your business, and you got to not be afraid to spend money on legit looks. So you got to have vision past the goals that you had, because once you get there, you're like, okay, man, I want to make $10,000 a month, but your business has the potential to possibly make $100,000 a month. Well, if you keep your mindset where you're content, you're not going to get very far, and it's you're not going to be able to maximize on what you have. So you got to really pay attention to what you have and be able to expand on it. And like I say, keep the distractions away. The bitches are going to distract you, family, friends, anybody who's distracting you from your goal, get them out your life.
Okay, good stuff, man. Solo, entrepreneurship as a black man, in a nutshell.
Yeah. I would say first, have a plan and do your research. I mean, they kind of go hand in hand, right? But research the business or the field that you're trying to get into, but have a plan. Have a plan in regards to your budget, marketing, advertising, have a plan, expenses, all of that. Have a plan for equipment, all of that. Have a plan for strategies. You got to have a plan. And even with the YouTube stuff, every year at the beginning of the year, I sit down, I look at my analytics, Donovan, I see, okay, last year I kicked ass. Okay, I made good money or I didn't, whatever the thing. And then I have a plan. And that's why when you look at my channel, you kind of see an evolution every year of me adding something different or trying something different. If it works, great. I'm going to keep doing it. If it doesn't, I tried. So have a plan and be willing to, don't give up right away if it doesn't, work right away, but have a plan.
Very good. Listen, people say this all the time. And it's a cliche, but it's a cliche for a reason. People never plan to fail. They simply fail to plan. You have to have a plan. Absolutely. Lucario, entrepreneurship as a black man, why should I or why shouldn't I do it?
I think you should do it. I would say this also, we didn't touch on this, but you got to also understand as a black man, you're going to have to work, the cliche, you got to work 3-4 times as hard. That's real. It's real shit because there's been situations where I was trying to make some deals happen and it didn't go through because it was some racist ass people. Like, for example, they actually have this movie called The Banker you guys should watch about this black guy. So I think it's a true story, actually, a black guy who was trying to get into real estate. And because of racism, it was stopping him. So he actually hired like a white guy to pose as him so he could get the paper. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not saying that's what you got to do, but just understand that that's a part of the process that you're going to have to go through as far as dealing with racist stuff. So you got to stay on the grind even harder than you would think you need to. You feel what I'm saying? And also make sure you guys check me out at 11 o'clock p.m. tonight on my channel. We'll be talking about the game on some heavy stuff. So that's it. You feel me?
Listen, real talk. And no matter how woke, society is, guys, listen, man, you got to understand, man, your skin tone matters. It absolutely matters. Sometimes it's going to help you. A lot of times it's going to hurt you. You need to be prepared for that. And when and if that happens, don't get butthurt, man. Like this you're not the only black person that's gone through this. Pick yourself up and just like Solo said, have a plan because it is going to happen. Believe me. Myron, entrepreneurship as a black man. Go.
Number one, you need to, not to steal from Solo, but you do have to have a plan. You have to, because I always say failing to plan is just preparing to fail, right? Ooh. So that's number one. You got to have a plan. Number two, you have to actually be very good at what you do. You know, being mediocre or being just okay or just even being good, that's not good enough. If you want to have a high ticket coaching business or a high ticket business in general where you're generating a lot of income, you have to be exceptional at what you do and you need to be able to diversify yourself from your competition. And you do that by being better than them. Quite simply put, there's a reason why I invested all this money into this studio and everything else like that, because I look at it like, okay, I'm not going to say no names, but I got targets on certain content creators next. You know what I'm saying? Because I know we're gonna put out better stuff.
Shots fired.
You know what I'm saying? So the thing is that but the only way I know I'm going to be able to do that is I'm going to have to absolutely demolish them as far as content quality, production, what we're putting out, information, receipts, the lifestyle in Miami, etc., which we're willing to do. But you need to understand that you need to be head and shoulders above your competition to get the attention. And let me tell you guys something. They're watching us. I'm looking at Fresher stories on Instagram. They're definitely watching us. They know who they are. So I'm not going to say no names. You got to be really good. You got to be really good at what you do, right? That's number two. And then number three, most importantly, don't forget the guys that put you on, man. Yep. The guys that put you on, you need to pay homage to them. And then when you make it, you bring them on and you just continue. Just like the super chatter said earlier, you don't raise the ladder up and just keep on going. You need to keep the ladder there so they can come up, help them get up, and then you go up to the next level together.
Absolutely. Very well said, Mr. Gaines. Kevin, entrepreneurship as a black man. Go.
Well, shit, I was just building me a new mobile studio because I'm not liking the way this looks. So while we're on this show talking about entrepreneurship, I just bought me a Shure SM7 microphone to complement that other one because it's better for podcasting, a better light, a better stand. So when I broadcast from LA or Miami or wherever the hell else, you won't just have this, so we'll have more. Because here's you got to get people in, and I don't mean the Automobile Association of America. You need to assert, aggressive, and ambition. That's what it comes down to. All these things are great, but if you don't assert, you don't do something, nothing happens.
Right.
And we get so stuck in the theoretical, and I need to get more prepared. I need more books. I need to become a big expert. 90% of life is showing up. Build it while you fly it with no instructions, but you got to take the fucking plane off. You can't just leave it on the runway. You get nowhere. You got a car to drive. You don't drive a plane. Then you got to be aggressive. Yes, you have to be aggressive. Take some risks. Break some eggs. Fuck up some stuff. Make a bunch of mistakes. Try stuff that does not work. Get bad reviews. Wash, rinse, repeat. You got to do better. Maybe you thought it was going to be this way and it's that way. Go down that route. Try other stuff. And then the ambition part, you only get so far by yourself. You got 24 hours, 7 days, one hand. You can only get so far by yourself. There's a cap. You're not really in business. So, I mean, there's a school of thought that you can be in business for yourself, but you're truly an owner when you have employees.
Ooh, wow. Very good. Man.
That's the ambition part. Don't cap yourself because $10,000 a month is more than anybody in your family's ever seen when you could have $100,000 a month if you're willing to just be ambitious enough to dream bigger. One of the black men's problems is we think too small. We think short term instead of long term. This is why you must get people around you who understand your new income, your new tax bracket, your new money issues, your new money potential problems. You can still go play ball with the boys and go over to get you a fish sandwich and all this other kind of shit on God, but you better go ahead and understand that you need people downtown, uptown, across town, across the street, not just in your back room. So, guys, being black, in my opinion, is an advantage.
Okay.
It's an advantage because when we get there, everybody know nobody gave us shit.
That's you better fucking believe it. Hey, listen, when you make it as a black man, oh, dude, listen, nobody gives you shit, man. Like, dude, we gotta fight and claw. Oh my God, listen, man, that's the comment of the night. I guess my the last thing I'll add to this is the three most important things that I think are something that Myron said. Number one, you have to be exceptional at what you do. That's going to weed out most people. You have to be realistic about yourself. Just because you have a camera, just because you have a smartphone and an opinion does not make you a content creator. Okay. Right. There is a big difference between there are YouTubers and then there are content creators. Okay. YouTubers have a smartphone and an opinion, okay? Content creators invest in studios. They invest in people. They reinvest their money. The second thing, and again, I can't stress that enough. You got to be good at what you do. You have to be good at what you do. Just because you think you're good at what you do doesn't mean you're good at what you do. The market, like we talked about last week, the market will decide if you are good at what you do. If the market says that you're not good at what you do, then guess what? Just like Hotep said, you have to be open to the idea of pivoting. Don't get stuck in the pride. Well, I wanted it to work this way, fam. If it's not working one way, you got to do it another. Okay, that the biggest strength a man can have is not only admitting, okay, I did it wrong, I was wrong about this, but then being able to put those things into practice to be able to pivot, like Hotep said. The third thing, the last important thing that I'll say about I guess in this business, in this line of work, and this is a lesson that has taken me all the way up until 3:00 this afternoon to learn. And it sounds chicken soup for the soul and all this other kind of stuff. But guys, you absolutely positively, you cannot pay attention to negativity, man. This has been one of my glaring weaknesses and deficiencies. You guys know I have a documented temper problem. And for whatever reason, when people talk shit and do this and that and the third, it really gets under my skin because I'm good at what I do, but I work very, very hard. And when people try to undermine that by throwing little jabs or talking shit about me, calling me names, calling me a gold digger, he's a snake oil salesman. Guys, you have to leave that stuff alone. Listen, man, I'm 43 years old and it's taken me this long to learn this lesson. This is exactly why I said at the top of the show, I'm leaving all that shit alone, man. I'm leaving trolls alone. I'm leaving haters alone. And to be quite honest with you, man, I can't, it almost makes me sick to my stomach to think about how much further along I would be if I hadn't wasted so much time and energy on people who really didn't deserve it. I'm giving attention and resources. I'm giving attention and resources to people that didn't have any business. Dude, I went off and I roasted some bitch for 2 hours. Now I got a basic bitch who thinks that she's somebody because she got my attention, right? You can't, and trust me when I tell you, it's gonna be hard to do. It was hard for me and it's taken me this long. But the most important lesson that I have learned in the now 6+ years of doing this, not only can you not pay attention to negativity, you have to do your level best to make sure you cut it out of your life. This is people, comments, family, experiences, etc. Because people are going to try to tear you down. Listen, in the beginning, when I had 250 subscribers, everybody loved me, right? But when people are actively trying to tear you down, and there are people far and wide trying to tear every one of us down, that's when you know you're doing it right. When you have people calling you a snake oil salesman and this and that, or he owes me because I put him on, or he ain't this, or he ain't shit. This is when you know people envy you. This is when you know people want to be where you are, but they know that they are neither capable nor willing to do the work that you did to get to this point. So again, as a 43-year-old man, I can admit that I've been emotionally immature in a lot of different ways to this point, and I just don't have the time for it anymore. I just don't have the time, man. So keep all that negativity out of your life. Keep all that negativity out of your business. Reinvest in your business, and the number one thing, guys, you got to be good at what you do. You have to be constantly doing things to You guys see how the camera is panning back and forth? Do you guys see anybody else doing that on YouTube? No, I didn't think so, right? It's the little things that separate you from your competition, because you might have grade A content, but if you're doing your show in your garage and people aren't seeing you progress, they're not going to want to invest in you. So if you invest in you, then people are also going to invest in you. Gentlemen, I think I've got a couple of other super chats to read out. We had one person who actually asked a question, but instead I'm just going to, Forest Law 89 says, "Hey Don, love the show. There's a bug with Zoom. When people join, the asking for permissions with a mic causes the auto mute to fail." Okay. All right. I'll have to get that looked at and all straightened out. Black Bleach, $5 says, "Wanted to ask last week, but are there some good books high value men should read? Plan on going into monk mode to finish 2021. Any suggestions on
Bachelor Pad Economics? Aaron Cleary is an excellent book.
Yes.
Read that book if you're trying to get your money right, since this is an entrepreneurship type episode.
Listen, Bachelor Pad Economics, The Rational Male by Rollo Tomasi.
Yeah.
In every one of my videos, there's my required red pill reading. Kevin, do you have any suggestions?
Kev, you're muted.
Oh yeah, unmute yourself. Yeah.
Well, I don't know why he's going into monk mode. But I'm sorry. The 48 Laws of Power is my quote unquote living Bible. I get something new every time I go back into it, because I'm in a different stage of development. Monk mode, I'm assuming you mean you're not dating. Yeah. Find you a couple of good call girls or escorts. You still need to get your rocks off. Just take that $300 in call and call it good.
Get yourself a copy of Dominate Twitter by Brian Sharpe. It's a metaphysical
Dominate
book
Twitter
on marketing
by Brian Sharpe, aka Hotep Jesus. Gentlemen, it has been a pleasure and an honor to broadcast with you guys today. Thank you all for making this an excellent show, dude. Almost 2.5 hours. That is definitely a new record. We will see you guys next week at the same time for the 6th.